All right, what up?
Hey.
What up, what up? Another episode, JTO, just talking online. I'm Jerry.
I'm Marcus. I want to say happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving, happy Turkey Day.
Yeah.
Happy colonizers win day.
Let's
Happy
always remember what we did to the Indians.
Slaughter of a people day, Native Americans, you son of a bitch.
And let's be thankful every year they don't kill us in our sleep.
Well, they're not enough to, whatever.
Yeah.
We didn't leave enough to really, it's sad.
Every person that gets killed in their sleep, you don't got to get all of us, but those people that get caught,
Oh yeah,
they went through it enough.
Yeah.
And they used to get, what was that they used to do to them? They used to peel the whole scalp.
Oh, by scalping?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild times.
We're starting off really dark this Thanksgiving.
I guess. I mean, people gotta know. When you're eating that turkey, it represents the death of the turkey and the death of the people.
That's why you stick to ham, and always remember respect your neighbors.
Yeah. Shout out to the indigenous, wherever you are. All right, what else we got?
We love you guys.
Until you're in the way.
You'll never be in my way. Let's eat ham together.
But how? What's
Yeah,
part of you?
Nothing much. I've been really just looking online. I'm watching different videos. I'm looking at how people are talking about everything's about video games right now. Video games have changed the culture, and now I want to say it's a bigger part than the people who weren't playing. Because even, we were talking earlier, I was saying, the term level up, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
And, you don't think about it too much, but that's your regular RPG video game stuff. You level up, you're grinding your stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Yeah, straight up RPG.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're just saying how that, so it started to penetrate just regular pop culture.
Yeah, and even...
Well, but see, that kind of happened at the beginning though, right? We weren't there for the beginning. I was a super child, just young. But flying around. Yeah, I don't even know what you're supposed to even picture when I say that. But yeah, when Mario Brothers came out, I feel like that had phenom kind of written all over it,
I don't know. I just don't know if it changed the way people talked in that same way.
No. Okay.
Because I say that because it's a YouTube channel that I started watching, and
What's the
he's
name of
the
it?
greatest. His name's Tirzu. Shout out to you, man. You're the best.
Mm-hmm.
He goes into how the animal kingdoms work and the interactions between these animals and how good or bad they are based on the strategies they evolved into. But he uses game terms to talk about it. So he'll describe the different epochs and patches. We went into this patch and...
Oh, that's a little different.
Yeah, he's going all the way.
Okay, wait. We gotta make something clear then, because I don't know if that's everybody. That sounds like it.
This is very specific.
This is a nerd.
Yeah,
Patches is not part of just the vernacular out here for sure.
Yeah,
no one. Yeah. Well,
but more like tiers though.
You know what a patch is, right?
Yeah.
You have to know.
For video games, yeah.
Alright, because it's more than video games.
It's software, but
it's
just easier to know with the video game because you'll see, patch 4.5.4.
For sure.
7.
Yeah, but yeah. Alright, so, because level up, I was with you. I was like, alright, people out here leveling up. Everyone needs leveled up. And so, patches? I've never heard anyone refer to a moment in time or as a patch.
He's the extreme example.
Yeah.
And I love him to death because when I first even
No, I'm not mad at it. It's hard.
yeah, like 45 seconds into one of his videos, I'm like, you have my full attention. I didn't know how fast you could do that.
Fair enough. Yeah, because do you have any level up, Pat, do you have any other, I don't know I was trying to think of other video game terminology that's made it into just regular talk.
Try hard. I've heard that come up in regular conversation more
Try
than
hard?
Yeah.
It's not what the video games are.
That's from just online gaming. You'll hear people like, oh, you're being a try hard. Like,
Okay.
That's a noob, try hard. All of these terms, they make it into real life fast.
Okay, that one
that
needs context, though, right? Because try hard, you're using it as like a noun, like one word, like try hard.
Yeah.
It's not to try hard.
No, it's not. It's like an annoying version of it, though. Like,
Someone's doing too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're being extra.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people should be saying. A lot of people do say, but you're also hearing that.
All right.
Or
so
I've even heard someone say uninstall, like in real life to another human. They're talking about like just school science stuff, and one of the guys is totally wrong, and he was like, "Yeah, man, just uninstall." And that's something they tell you in the game, to say, "You suck bad."
Yeah.
Just stop.
That's hard. I like that. I want to tell someone to install now. Like, that's now like the goal of the week. Goal of the week: find your favorite friend when they're wrong. Tell them not to install. That's gonna be fun.
You're done in this server.
Man. Alright, I'm gonna put that one in my pocket and hold on to it because I like that a lot.
It's a lot of, I won't say it's a lot of these terms, but it's
enough.
Yeah, it's a good number of them, and you see them.
Well, video games have gotten just exponentially bigger, and then the fact that like the App Store, I feel like changed the game again, and it's after consoles
mobile games
did so much, but and then this what is it, like free to download and then in-app purchases like that. Yo, the economics on that shit is nuts. How much they make giving out a free game just to make it up on the back end or as you're using it. Like that's a real game changer for that entire industry. Like the games even have to be good.
Don't you feel like the people that are making these games now are like they almost have the perfect recipe for kids because you get the game for free. That's the hook. But now you're buying.
But it's not even just kids.
Micro purchases.
It's perfect for kids, but it works just as well on adults, though. Yeah. The only thing the problem with kids are in that same mode, and that was a bigger thing. I think they've put in restrictions, like parental restrictions on like in-app purchases and stuff. But that used to be like a whole thing when this first came out. Kids downloading the games and then running up a fucking check. Yeah. Like there were stories of like $50,000 worth of purchases and fucking up lives. Like, where it's like, yo, you gotta roll this back or I'm gonna go bankrupt because of Candy Crush, like, you know what I'm saying, or Angry Birds.
I need to talk to Google.
Yeah, like for real, or Apple, and not even Apple makes so much money off of all these apps. Like they make, I want to say 30% of all purchases, like 30% of that is Apple's cut. That shit's bonkers.
Yeah, I knew they had a cut. That's a crazy cut.
Yeah, it might be higher. I think it's 30 though. But like, I don't remember the numbers, but it was when, I think it was Fortnite. I think it was Fortnite because they did like a release where they encouraged some of like the Android users to disable or to change one of the settings in their phone because like on Android by default you can only download stuff from the Google Play Store, right? But they have the option where you can turn that off and you can just download apps from anywhere. And Fortnite was encouraging, I hope it was Fortnite. If it was a different game, correct me down in the comments, but Fortnite's getting this right now. I'm pretty sure it was them. But they were like, yo, turn this off, turn the feature off, and just come to our website and download it directly from us. And so then they didn't have to do the profit sharing with the Google Play Store because they do like similar percents, I think. And that was coming out to like, I don't even really want to guess these numbers but they were crazy. It was like millions, maybe tens of $1 million like a month that they had to give just because that was 30% or whatever. So they were like, yeah, we want to bypass that. But then everybody got on them because that was irresponsible because it's like, all right, well, just for the sake of getting kids to download your app, you've opened up their phone to all the bullshit that the internet can provide, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the malware.
So that was just irresponsible. But I got it. Why? I just got it. I mean, man, that's a lot of money to just write off. You won't say for no reason, but they're giving you the platform to. Platforms are interesting. Let's talk about platforms.
That's a crazy topic.
Or just because they've given, and like, alright, I don't want to frame this. I'm kind of going off top here. Well, I am, completely. Like, we're now doing like platforms on platforms, and then said platform can be a springboard for people to have entire businesses built off of it. For example, Fashion Nova is a clothing company, right? But it was built off of advertising on social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, using the people on those platforms to build a whole company. It's $1 billion company that was predicated just off of those people, just using people on these platforms to push its content forward. So that's like a whole company built off the backbone of social media companies. And those social media companies can only exist because the phones exist. Like on a whole other platform, you know what I'm saying? Like, so Instagram and Facebook enable Google and Apple to do these things because if you're gonna you gotta have the phone if you're gonna use the apps. And if you use the apps, then there's companies built off the apps to sell more shit. Like it's pretty incredible. Like I don't mean any of this in a bad way. It's just wild levels of dependency. But then how big these companies are that are completely dependent on something else. Like I like to bring up the fact that we talked about it last week or the week before with Disney Plus and the AWS. Netflix runs on AWS. It has from the beginning. I don't even know if they're looking to change it because that's like the best way to go. But that's a whole. Netflix has like 20% or some wild percent of all internet traffic, and it's built off of its competitors' platform. If Amazon, for whatever reason, not that they would, I think anyone has the right to refuse service to anyone. You know what I'm saying? That's America. Like, no shoes, no shirt, no service. Like, if they were just like, you know what, we see what you're doing and we appreciate it because Netflix has been paying them a lot for the service. But if they're just like, yeah, we really want this Prime thing to take off and we don't want you to use up our resources anymore, I don't think that's outside of the possibility. You know, the only downside that would come with that is maybe someone calling like monopoly because you're directly undercutting your competitor. But the fact that the competitor put themselves in that position is the opposite of how businesses work thus far. Like that's why the iPhone Maps, like Apple Maps, sucks because it's not connected to Google Maps. And they made that disconnection early. It used to be. It used to be like kind of one thing, and they made that disconnection quick because they didn't want to be dependent on Google for anything. You can't because that's your livelihood in that arena.
Yeah.
So they just made their own thing. So it's worse off for it, but it can never be shut down. It can only really get better. You know what I mean? So I find it the dependency of big companies and then even the influencers on top or below that. You know what I mean? Like there are Instagram models are that's a whole profession. Like you see you see certain girls like if you're above a certain threshold of like fine and you're just not even participating in this, I don't even understand what you're doing. Like for real. Like you're really wasting time because there's no reason not to do it. They make so much money doing it when it's done right. Like $5,000 for an Instagram post, that's real life. And you don't even want to try. And you're working at where? Doing what? It's crazy. Like, I mean, seriously, like, I don't even understand like some of the conversations that have to happen out now. Like, if you're just a guy and you're sitting on, you see like the hottest girl in the bar, right? And you're that guy, so you go up and you're just like trying to spit game. All right, what do you do? She says something regular. You have to now judge her whole decision making and her life process, like for real. Like
you might not be the one for me.
It doesn't make any sense. Like I was at that for that hosting thing in San Diego in Gaslamp Quarter. One of the girls on the staff was like a teacher or whatever. Honestly, she wasn't even a teacher. She dealt with the bad kids. Like she was like
behavior school.
Yeah, or I don't know if it was like the whole school, but like maybe if she went to like a regular public school, they got sent to like detention or like I forget what you call it, in-house, that shit. Like, so that's the worst part about that job. And I had so many more questions. Like, there would have been another time to talk. I'd have had to break down the whole thing. Like, wait, so, but what's your insecurity? Because why? Because there's no way I would ever put myself in a position to be yelled at by a 10-year-old, especially when I could just sit. Well, not me, but I could sit in like a bikini or in the sun, take a picture, and someone's literally gonna pay me something with a comma for it. Like that's fucking nuts, and that's real life, and it's not even like a small thing. Like influencer marketing is a whole marketing scheme now. Like there are now divisions of marketing companies set up just to look for influencers that are coming up or that already have reach to sell their shit, and that goes from the span of that is limitless. Like anyone selling anything, So it's strange. It's just interesting.
I've imagined since the internet came out that we've just been building, like it's almost like a regular building. We're building floors on top of floors on top of floors, and it's different each time, but it's sensitive in that if you take something from that foundation, from those bottom pieces, everything falls off. Take that phone out, a lot of that social media starts falling off.
Well, not a lot, all of it. There's like it's not even like a.
Well, that's the foundation. And the only reason I said that was because they're still your computer. You'll default at worst to like a MySpace level.
No,
in my head.
We've changed from that. Like phones are default. There are a lot of people have phones that don't have a computer.
That's also true.
That's like
super. And never had computers.
Yeah, like that's the whole thing. Like I use my laptop for this and for work, like to make stuff off of. I don't just browse on there. Do it on my phone. It just makes sense. Like why? I can be anywhere. It's comfortable. Like it's already in my hand or pocket. Like the function for a laptop or desktop is completely changed from all-in-one to this is priority for work or for something very in particular. Everything else is done on the phone, and even some like I have Photoshop on my laptop. I also have it on my phone. Like
You do
it's-
Photoshop on the phone?
No, it's not as good on the phone,
Okay.
but they're trying, and it will be.
Yeah.
And if I were on my iPad, it would probably be better because then I can draw and stuff. Well, not
Yeah,
one
with the
picture.
pens.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's just interesting. Yeah, and the phone will turn into something else eventually, just a more compact version of what it is. But those features, I don't think will ever be rolled away.
From what you've seen so far, what do you think is like the most likely to be the next big thing? Because we saw something on if the North Face made these focals called they were these smart focals. I don't know, the North Face. No, that's a jacket.
Glasses?
Yeah, the glasses.
I've never heard anyone just say focals in like method. They got these focals. Come get your focal. Like never heard it. I knew what you were saying, but like why are you saying it this way?
I think that they're called focals. It's
Oh,
just
that was them. Okay.
Yeah, no, they're called focals by name. That's what it was.
All right. So what are they? Oh.
Yeah, they're smart glasses. Yeah.
Oh, we watched the video about that, right?
Check this out.
Okay.
So they have these focals by North smart glasses. They project things from a little laser light that's next to your eyes, and they put it onto the glass of the glasses. And I thought it was really dope. You weren't as into it, but have you seen anything else that has the potential to be that next big thing past the smartphone?
Have I seen it? No. I don't think it's here yet. I can see we have like a barrier. We're kind of at capitulating is I don't think the right word, but we're at like a
Roadblock.
little bit, maybe like a really big speed
Or
bump
brain
or
fart.
aggressive speed bump because we don't have. All right, so we have a couple things that need to be fixed to go to the next level, whatever that is. I don't know what that is, but so batteries. Let's start with batteries. Batteries need to get smaller and stronger. Like really best case where everything makes a whole different switch is really the Iron Man arc reactor. Like that was like the realest thing in the whole Marvel universe. Like not realizing it exists, but like realizing
World changing if possible.
yeah, if that energy race in that first movie would happen if someone came around with a fucking giant reactor that could fit in your pocket and not give you cancer. You know what I'm saying? Even if it could, we'll just put it in a lead box and churn this shit out.
Everything's good in there.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. No one has to go near it.
Put it in
It's
the
doing
basement.
what it's doing.
Put it in the basement. We're good in the house.
You know what I'm saying? But not even like, no, that will power a city. That's how powerful that thing was. Like that was an arc reactor. Like,
I thought it was only the like super large version able to do that.
well, that was the point.
Yeah.
That he made that powerful.
Okay.
Like that was the whole point of that. Because like if you go back and watch the first Iron Man, the bad guy, I can't think of his name, but Obadiah's. He literally, yeah. Have you ever watched Spider-Man: Far From Home?
I haven't seen that yet. I
That's-
still haven't seen that. Don't
Alright.
go too deep.
No,
Wait a minute.
alright. But basically, alright. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But there's a scene in the first movie where he yells at the guy. He's yelling at the engineers like, "I need you guys," because they're in front of the arc reactor. He's like, "I need you guys to take that and make it this big. Tony did it in a fucking cave. Why can't you do it? You have everything." He's like, "We're not Tony Stark." But that was the point. Like he made that like this Iron Man suit. To do all that it was doing, that would be like the whatever powers like a plane. You got to think about just and all of it, like
electric powered plane.
yeah, because in the electric powered plane, like that battery now would be, I mean, the battery in the Tesla is the size of the undercarriage of the Tesla. It's that whole bottom.
Yeah.
That's all battery. That's why they're heavy vehicles. A plane would have that same problem, only it would be bigger. It'd be bigger. But if that was like handheld size that can really power a plane or power anything, and then once you have that, then you stack those and do multiple versions of that, put them together. That's like how you do uh, processors. Like we did CPUs, like faster, 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 bigger, faster, faster, and then we were like, all right, we can't really go past this point right now, so let's just put two next to each other. All right, dual core. All right, can we hook up four and have them split the processes? Yeah. All right, hook up four to each other. Now you're having 4 times the capacity and the same size. So that's what that would turn into until you make that next breakthrough and they're able to shrink it down again with the same power. Well, not with 8. You want to get back that. You want to get that power back down to 1. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Oh, you want to get that same power you would from the 4 out of 1.
Yeah, that's where that resets.
Yeah.
You get that back down to 4, and then with the same size or smaller, and then you start that again. Like that's cycle, and it's like, all right, can we put most of these and split? So power is a big thing holding us back, and we keep advancing that, but like it needs to be a giant break in there to power something like the glasses, for example. It would need a battery pack, and we're not gonna deal with something that looks crazy. And the only battery, or the battery we have now that would be the right size, is like a watch battery. It's not powerful enough to power a phone at all, like even for like a couple of seconds. I don't think, maybe a minute of phone time. So that's one thing. Our second roadblock that I see would be displays. Right now, we're stuck on either projection or glass displays, right? Projection, it's old school, so you don't get as good definition with it, but it does give you the capacity to kind of put it wherever you want, but then you have to deal with the actual physics of the light having to get there. You know, you have to be a certain amount of space away from it. So that's a roadblock in that. Like you need one, I think we talked about that last week for a second, briefly maybe, where it was like, wouldn't it be cool if you had if you're driving and you on your windshield was the map instead of like a separate console screen. It could be just overlaid like an AR over the road
and transparent.
Yeah, like you'd be pulling up to a light, and in your windshield there'd be a giant green arrow. Turn left. You know what I'm saying? Like it in the road. That would be amazing. But you can't do that during projection. So you have to have like a projection back of the car, or you could have a small one. Ooh, you have a small one going at that angle.
Yeah.
But see, I don't think that
you might be able to do what you did with the focus from the 2 sides at the front windows. Put them into that view.
Yeah. But you lose quality doing it that way, just because projection. Like that's what the old TVs, like the TVs with the ass on it, those are projection TVs. So basically what you're seeing is the ass was the projector in the back, and it's shooting the picture into like a mirror, flips it onto your screen, big, and how big the TV was. So that's how those big TVs were, and with the ass, with that gone, you got the pixels, and that's where the picture comes from. Each pixel is a different color. And put all that together, you get images. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so projection. So we need something in between that, like a foldable display. That's why the Samsung was that Samsung that had the foldable phone. It was important because it's like a. That's why I didn't mind if that didn't work. I would mind if they gave up on the whole concept.
They fixed it.
Yeah, because that's a step in what we're going for. You need a malleable display, or like a sticker that you can feed electricity into, or pixelate a pixelated sticker that was also transparent would be hard, because then you just put that over like a tint, like how you have Windows Connect.
Mm-hmm.
Put that over like a tint, but then when the car turns on, it turns on, and it has that AR display, so you can still see through it, but you can also put messages up there and play with that'd be tight.
But they got to where it was built into the tent, and that's.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
it would be, the tint would be the display.
Yeah, that is.
So it would fit onto any windshield, or be able to cut it, like if it were cuttable, like if it were like a sticker, but pixelated, but had pixels running through it. And transparent or not, like for the sake of the car example, you need transparency, unless if it can be totally opaque if you had a camera mounted in the front that fed into it, so it gave you a live view like it was transparent, then you can do whatever you want, because that's just a display now. So that can go both ways, either opaque or transparent. But if it's completely opaque, then you just that's actually easy fix. You just put a front camera in front of the car, like they do for the license plates for newer cars, and you're popping. So that's one. I see. I'll see something like that. Displays in different places, getting us off of just TVs, or making more things into displays.
I have seen.
Like if I could just I could just make this a TV by like sticking something on it, or like painting something on it.
They have something that goes on your wrist. I don't remember the name of this product, but it basically goes on your wrist, something along the lines of a watch, but it makes your arm into a display. So it projects the thing on your arm. And
I think I've seen that actually.
Yeah.
Like right onto the forearm.
Yeah.
Nah. Again, I feel like there's always limitations with projection, because then even like.
That's what that is, though.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Can you touch it?
Not in general, but like you can set up like sensors. You can set up like some sensors in said watch, maybe, that can like look for actions within a range. And then you can kind of map it, maybe.
You saw the one I was talking about, though.
I think so, but that's just in general. That's how you would do it, because like there's, nothing's here.
Yeah.
So like you can only set up the sensors from where it would be and then map it down. Yeah, I can imagine how that worked, but that wouldn't be great. I don't think I would go all the way, because easy example, that would suck outside. Like right now during the day, sun kills all that fun.
Yeah.
Like you gotta be a hoodie, like you gotta be Batman for some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And
with 120% brightness.
That'd be like mildly impressive for a kid these days. I feel like that's not even grown man shit anymore.
Hey, kids these days aren't impressed by shit.
I'm saying. So, yeah, that's kind of lazy. That I put that. I almost want to put it in the same categories of fake ass, bum ass, explosive ass, counterfeit ass, culture holding back ass. Yeah, hoverboards. I hate them so much. It's not that bad, but like, it's I think it's not that bad. It's
bad enough.
it's well, no, I won't even say it's bad. It's just kind of in lieu of a better idea or better technology.
I have a problem with naming things something that it's not. Like
Lying to people? Yeah.
It's not always lying.
That's a lie. Hoverboards are, we don't have to go back into it. Unless you just want rage for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's all kinds of things. Like people name things and they try to be clever, like, oh, we named it to be in mockery of this. Like, no, it doesn't help, because now that everyone knows it by this name, the instant assumption is that it's this. Satanism is a perfect example.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
They're not.
They're trying to see.
It's annoying when you hear it. Like, okay, so you worship Satan? No. Okay, who do you worship? I only heard one name.
All right. Coming off of that example, this is gonna sound insane, but roll with me. It's not. These are just attempts of people trying to be black, in a sense, culture-wise, and that has nothing to do with Satan. Let's just be fucking clear. That's just what he fucking said. So that's all I had to go off of. But like, you know, because this has only happened one time successfully in modern history, that we've reclaimed a word and repurposed it from what it was, and that's your infamous and wholly famous N-word. And yeah, it felt weird even saying N-word right there. I have a whole right to say it. But like, just to not.
We don't want to encourage y'all out there to say it though.
Yeah, just not to scare the white people. But yeah, like that worked. Us or whatever, not us.
But we are
as a
Negroes.
culture. Yeah, but like it was a term of like just straight hate though. Like it was a repurposing from.
Yeah.
This word was created to signify that you're lesser than, and we've made it just a greeting or like and then it sounds cool when you do it right. Like,
yeah.
It's a whole thing, and we've taken it from the people that created it or that mainstreamed it can't use it anymore. So we flipped it and then restricted it. And I would feel like the closest, there's not even, so that's like the only successful example of that, unless someone's got something. And I feel like the next
bitch is working on it.
Bitch is a good one.
It's like halfway through the process.
Well, no, but it's not. Oh, bitch is interesting. Because it's not, we never restricted it. It's not the same kind of restrictions. Because a guy, I guess anyone can do whatever they want, but it would be way less smart for a guy to call a girl a bitch now with a tone, but I call you a bitch. And then it's up to how you handle it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
In that way, I feel like that's the similarity, though, because I've heard two white people call each other nigga all day, and
yeah, but like,
don't say that.
No, but again, they see that's kind of different though. In my mind, at least, maybe not, but like they would stop it, or see they should stop it when you come around.
I feel like that's the exact same situation.
No,
because they shouldn't call each other.
No, but see, like if like there were like girls here and we're just all having a conversation here, and you say something crazy, and bitch, I just felt like it was funniest thing to call you, and I'm not trying to not to be mean, because you can say anything where it's like, all right, a fight's. I'm saying this to intensify a fight, or I'm trying to escalate shit, or I'm just trying to be funny. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these words can be used in all those contexts. So in the right context, I'm not changing that because there are ladies there. I'm not calling them that because that doesn't stop me from saying whatever to you.
Yeah.
If there are two white people here and they're talking and they're throwing the N-word, I'm ready to throw a chair. because you could do whatever the fuck you want, like, in your house. I'm not gonna be there to monitor, and I don't care. But you're not gonna disrespect me. It's not, it's a different.
It's a different level.
I think it's different.
It has an extra level to it for the end.
And to be clear, a certain amount of vulgarity, people overuse it, I think, as well. Because it's not for every situation or all groups of people.
The N-word?
No, just cursing in general. It's really time and place. There can be.
I'm very vulgar, so I don't know. I guess I curse less now than I did.
I guess it comes down to respectability. If I met if you met Maya Angelou, and you're throwing around fucking, you really need to evaluate yourself, yo.
And I mean, I guess it depends how straight I'm being person.
Some people, I guess that's what I'm saying.
Some people deserve that extra respectability for sure.
Yeah, how often?
But I've been looking at my own family. I've gotten at teachers and when it was really serious, okay, let's cut this shit. This is da 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 da.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on with this? And I'm saying this because I don't want there to be any misunderstanding. The curse words. I'm only knowing this now because I'm thinking about it, but they're accentuating yo, I'm serious. Answer this straightforwardly.
Well, that's what they're meant for.
Yeah.
The problem is people use it beyond that, so that's why they tell if you're stand-up comedians, there's almost a fuck limit, because you can, or people will people be fucking as a breather, a placeholder. And it's well, if you do that, if you actually have a joke where you're trying to use fuck to emphasize something, it's no longer emphasized. You've taken away the impact of the word. And I feel like people do that all the time. One of my...
I'm joking.
I called, I rarely throw the word nigger around, unless I'm listening to music, but it's usually not. It's super limited. If I'm using it, I'm usually trying to make a point. And part of this probably comes from having just a lot of white friends who are just all right, this doesn't make sense. What am I trying to exclude everybody for? But I can't remember the argument, but it was one of my old roommates back in Georgia, or back in college. And he's white. Shout out Thomas. And I can't remember what we were talking about, but we were just arguing something. And I hit him with the N-word. Everything stopped. That was why I did it. Because I was I need to punch through this because we're kind of going in circles and we're both as stubborn as this is gonna happen. But I got a card I can play, which is at least gonna breathe it where it can't go on the same. Something has to change.
Yeah.
So I called him that. He was like, "Whoa, hold on."
I don't know, man.
But keeping it in the context, it was just to emphasize. It was to really, because I knew it would create at least a moment of silence where I could finish the sentence and get a point through. So that was the most powerful use I've ever done it. That's why that one sticks with me.
I do think saving your cursing, using it sparingly, does give it more power when it happens.
Yeah, it does. It's really with anything. But verbal punctuation and emphasis. That's why those words were created, or it's kind of that's why they exist, for that punctuation.
Yeah.
It's just people have gone too far.
And it's weird, but I also find that I trust people that curse a lot more. Or not trust.
That's a mistake.
But I feel when they're saying something, I feel they mean it more. I get more seriousness from it.
That shouldn't be I don't think that should be the case.
Yeah.
Like, unless someone's, because that just could, they could just be ignorant as fuck.
I think that's even a tendency.
Huh?
I think that's even like a tendency they've noted. I'm not 100% on that part, but I think that's the thing. Like, people that curse a lot have a tendency to be more straightforward. I'm not 100%, but I think I saw that somewhere.
More straightforward. That makes sense because you're not beating around anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't know, because it used to be a sign of, or at least they'd say it used to be like a sign of ignorance. Like, all right, you don't know enough words.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of been eliminated to a point, or that's been diluted to a point. But I don't know. I think that's really case by case basis. I wouldn't really put that all in one big bubble because people are the range is too big.
I'm with you, but the study was real and it's heavily noted.
Mm-hmm.
But within that, there is,
because you can be straightforward and not know what you're talking about.
That's also true.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
but
that's nuance to it, though. Like,
there's all nuance.
Yeah,
this whole thing that you brought up is based on nuance.
Yeah, that steps it up a level. Though.
Yeah,
it does step it up a level because, like, you being straightforward is one thing, but you being straightforward and being right about what you're being straightforward about is separate.
Yeah, because that also could be like cursing. I think in a white bread society, like just with soft people.
It depends who you're talking to, definitely.
Yes, that was kind of my whole thing. Of like
where the people are from.
I'm saying,
because
I that can be seen more straightforward because it feels like someone's talking straight. Like these are kind of like terms like
the Donald Trump thing people were talking about at the time when the election was happening. That's
a good example. Yeah, actually, that's a good example. That's a great example. Actually, but he's not really. He's not super vulgar,
but he's just more so than the other guy that's supposed to be from that same environment.
Well, no one's.
Let's not say same environment, in the same arena.
Arena's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vulgarity does come with the perception of straightforwardness. I just don't know if that always correlates. It's because you can, because you can not know what you're talking about and be speaking from the heart, not necessarily lying, just be wrong.
Yeah.
You're talking about, I don't even know.
We had that conversation outside the podcast.
Yeah, that was a good conversation.
Yeah. It's real though.
Yeah.
And it's also dependent on what the person uses it for. Because you can have a person be straight with you and they're wrong or something, and that's something that comes up and it's like, oh yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then you have the dark side of it, which is Trump.
Yeah.
And he's just doing whatever needs to be done to get to where he needs to go.
Yeah, I wish he was more vulgar for the sake of, not actually, just for the sake of the conversation. If he were.
To be a better example.
Yeah, but that's a good enough example because he's more vulgar than anyone in that position has been that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In our lifetime at least.
And and it doesn't even have to just be the cursing, but it's like really just crass way of talking, being
crass is good.
Yeah, being really insulting. Like I remember the debate. I think of Trump and Bush's little brother, Jeb Bush. They go to debate. Yeah, he was a low energy Jeb.
Jeb didn't even want to be there, man.
He was suffering.
I've never felt bad for Bush in my life, but that was the time where I was just like, yo, this poor bastard. He's just trying to do what he thinks he needs to do. Like, that was like
he was an innocent bystander.
You probably see more examples of this, but it looked like a kid they had to go give like a little speech or something, but he didn't want to do it. His parents made him do it, so he was like, yeah, and by the boat, and you know, something shitty, but like immediately he's just like, ugh, like he's just done, like he just wants to be off stage. Like I felt like that was him, but he's a grown ass man.
See, and what's so messed up is I thought that until I like really went back and was watching it, and I'm thinking to myself like, I feel like Trump just talked so much smack that he created the perception. Because he would be talking from the heart, he would try to be passionate, and then here comes Trump. Oh, I see you brought the high energy today.
Yeah, but even like I don't remember all of his campaign and shit, but like he had moments where it's just like, all right,
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to be here. It's just family tradition at that point. Like my brother was president, my daddy was president. I should take a run at it. I mean, it's just kind of, yeah, it's gang.
Let's see if I can get in.
Yeah, like it should. I know all the people. Like I got. Yeah, this makes sense. I grew up in the White House. Like I was there as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it. Maybe not as a kid, but whatever.
He's seen enough White House through his years.
Yeah, for real. Like he knows where some extra shit is in the house. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's like I should make a run. And it seemed like good enough here too.
Did Bush Sr. get 2 terms?
I don't know. I don't know that for sure.
It's not too big a thing. My point was, Bush Jr. got 2 terms. That's 8 years.
Yeah.
Even if he only got 1, that's 12 years.
Yeah.
Of just being able to sit in that White House.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like I never blamed him for going at it. It made sense. Like it's just all the effort put into it seemed minimal though. Like
He wasn't in
his slogan, I just feel like was just a jab, exclamation point. Like we're not even gonna like we didn't even roll out the one word like hope, change. Like nah, just put my name and be excited about it. Like what?
Oh no, I need to.
Yeah, so it's just he didn't really seem to give a damn. But yeah, I wouldn't be too fast to correlate some of the curses with always keeping it straight, because you can be a lying piece of shit and just say shit.
Definitely. I don't think that those are. I don't think any articles on the internet should be taken as the rule of thumb. I think they're all things that should.
No, of course not.
Yeah, no, but I feel like it's so easy to do it.
It shouldn't be. You gotta everything. I feel like everything you take in should be filtered through you. If that makes sense. Like you gotta look at everything critically, just because anyone can write anything.
Yeah, but you have to have that extra self-consciousness to do that when these things are happening. Like for me, I don't think, like I said, I don't think that that's just the end-all be-all, but I do think that it's a thing. Within that, I could send that article to another person and they'll go tell other people like this is
fact.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, that's dumb.
It's dumb, but it's common.
Oh yeah, but you don't want my opinions on people. Like it's not really great. It's not. I have low opinion on most people because most people aren't really thinking. Or yeah, I don't want to get too deep into that because it's people that have the capacity to think about things even a little deeply, and they don't. And what makes me, besides the fact that that's just ridiculous, there's also people that don't even have the capacity in life to even ponder the things that we, just have the time to do. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be I don't know. We just sat here and we were talking about earlier at the top, like what could be the next big leap in technology and whatever. We get to sit around and speculate on it because that's life. You know what I'm saying? Like we're provided that opportunity just in where we're born, where we grew up, the fact that we're here, the fact that we have this privilege to even do it. Right now, there's someone walking like miles for water to a well, and on the way to that walk, there's people that are trying to rob them of the water, and they're gonna do this all again tomorrow, and then the next day, and then they gotta eat at some point, and it's all done barefoot, and malaria is still a thing, and just killed my neighbor. Like,
Oh, you're going all the way to the opposite end.
I'm saying that's most people. We don't really consider that.
Yeah.
Like we don't really get put out a worldwide perspective. So with that even being the fact that it's happening to anybody is atrocious, but the fact that most people in the general world and the people outside of that, you can't even stop to think about the bullshit a little deeper than, you know, the bullshit that we're allowed to even think about. You don't even think about it a little more. You know what I'm saying? It's just a waste. It's a waste of opportunity, resources, thought, time.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of
Space,
people,
oxygen.
if they just had like the lesson put into them to have those extra thoughts, or not even that, if curiosity was valued more, because I don't feel like curiosity is very valued in itself, especially with how accessible everything is.
I think it is, but only. Huh?
Yeah, because
Curiosity. I don't know if curiosity is enough though. It's the executors.
it's definitely the
But
execution.
you gotta think deeply, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think it is, but we don't think about it that way. Like the curious and the executors, they win. Like they're like, Mark Zuckerberg is curious and he executes. He's a billionaire because of it. Same thing with I'm blanking on Amazon. Jeff Bezos. Like there's curiosity and he executed, and he stays curious. That's why they keep progressing into other realms, because he's curious enough to even dive into it, and he executes. And he's prospering because of it.
One gets the ball rolling,
But I don't know
gets it
if
to the bottom.
I don't know if people make that correlation. So it's valued in our society, but maybe not amongst regular people. Because regular people, I don't know, can't even take like hypotheticals, and I don't know. A lot of people also think to understand something you have to like agree with it, or those things are like completely correlated, which is ridiculous, and it leads to people just not even trying to understand things that they don't agree with at all. Like when you have someone do like some domestic terrorism, you know what I'm saying, and they immediately it's like, all right, it's active crazy, you know what I'm saying, it happened. It's like, well, sure, it could have been some medication not taken and whatever, but it's not for nothing. We always write off where it's just like, all right, that was just chaos happening. That's not per se chaos. Like he thought about it. Like he didn't just wake up with a gun and in a location and be like, oh, I think I'm just gonna spray it. No. He bought the gun. He mapped out the place. He probably went there, looked at it to survey, see what entrance, exits, kind of shit. Like you would a bank robbery. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking this out to do something awful and, you know, horrendous. And that's not for nothing. It's not for good. It's not for something anyone should or could agree with. But to write it off as nothing is dangerous, because you can't prevent random from happening again. But you can prevent someone that's been infected by misinformation, someone that has been misdiagnosed, not diagnosed, or sent away from like the medical, you know, community, or people that's supposed to be providing on that front. The whole medical care system has failed this person, education has failed this person. The media's thrown in just wild shit that's accessible to this person at all times in the day. Like that, this plus this plus this plus this equals this. Always. Like it's never, everything on both sides of the equal sign has to equal. You have to have that,
balance.
yeah, there's a real word for that. But yeah, balance, that homeostasis, that congruency. Like you have to, they always equal. And so we like to put crazy over here and then a person's life over here. It's like, I mean, come on, let's be a little more crass. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I like the Joker so much, where it's like we've had this engine of chaos, you know, since like the 40s or whatever, and he's had stories or whatever, but none have explained. Well, they tried to explain like One Bad Day, like how could someone be pressed to becoming this monster? And the biggest takeaway from the Joker movie, and just the One Last Day story in general, or One Bad Day story in general with the Joker, is that it's not for no reason. Like he didn't wake up one day and was like, yeah, murder spree. That's what I'm gonna dedicate the rest of my life to. No. This is a guy who was already a little broken. Then he got disrespect on top of that. Then he didn't get the medical attention he deserved or needed, and then had a terrible upbringing, lied to by his mother. Like there were a lot of things you can point to, put together that create this end being. Person's just sick of it, sick of the bullshit outside, sick of being disrespected personally, sick of being lied, like just, you know, it's just not, so you broke, but it just wasn't for nothing, you know what I'm saying? And that's important, because every time someone breaks, you just gotta know that no one starts off broken. Like every time you look at somebody, you know, good or bad, in whatever position, you know, on death row or in the president's chair, you gotta remember that at one point, truly that was somebody's baby boy. That was a kid. That was a baby at one point. Like a cute little, oh my God, like this is adorable. People are crying, celebration. This grows up. People probably got a little less enthusiastic about his existence. You know what I'm saying? And shit got real good or bad. You know what I'm saying? And then 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, you have this human being that has lasted through all of these things, good and bad, and they've shaped that person to be what they are. And so you're only dealing with that result. But if you understood what got into that result, it would be a lot easier to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? Because now you know that, oh, this person lies all the time. Well, that's because he was, that's because his parents made him insecure and this, like, it's some reason. Like, it's not for nothing. No one's their own villain, and no one just comes out what they are in, like, I'm like 31, 32. I really kind of forgot.
What?
Yeah. See, after 21, I just don't really keep up with it anymore. It doesn't matter. But like, I didn't come, like, whatever I am now, I wasn't 10 years ago, and he wasn't that 10 years before that, 10 years before that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a progression, and people cut that out when, or discount that when it's something that they just can't, or something they think they can't wrap their mind around. It's like, you didn't try. And it's not a fun thing to always do. it's not even for everybody. Like, you don't. I'm not saying everyone should dive into the mind of the next, serial killer or mass shooter, but someone should, and that helps down the line because then you could see it happening. You know what I'm saying?
I think that
It's South Park actually had a good episode about this in the season that it's called Mexican Joker, and it was kind of this to this point because he was like they dealt with the taking kids at the border, and it's just Stan's like, "You're just creating the next Mexican Joker," and they're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Think about it. Who would this is gonna be a flashback. Like you taking people away from their parents, put them in cages. It's like, what do you think they're gonna grow up thinking? You think they're gonna like you? Like you're growing them up to hate you down the line. And if they ever get out of these fucking cages, where do you think that anger is gonna go?
Yeah.
All of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so that was they did it hilariously, but like it was just like, yeah, like no one starts off like you can go to the.
I also realize a lot of people don't even notice when they make that flip into being really bad. That's
Because no one's bad in their mind. That's what I'm saying. Like no one's the villain of their own story. Like even people that do the mass shootings, like as they're shooting, they're not like, oh, this is fucked up. They wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm doing this for a higher purpose, and they might not understand this. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. And if you ask him, he'd probably have something to say about it. You know what I'm saying? Now, will it all come out like Looney Tunes? For sure. because it's a fucked up place to even get to. But know that he got to it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But I feel like you have to have a certain lack of self-consciousness to be radicalized or to even be radical enough to take those kinds of actions. Like it takes some self-consciousness being missing because you're not going to even tell the story that these shooters tell. I feel like you have to have a misinformed story.
I think not necessarily, because again, going back to the Mexican Joker point, and there's a show on Amazon on Prime called Jack Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
It has a dude from The Office, Jim. He plays Jack Ryan. It's based on the Tom Clancy character. And so the first season, Jack Ryan finds himself in somewhere in the Middle East. And basically, we dive into, they're trying to stop like a terrorist group, like the new Al Qaeda or whatever. And so we're getting both sides of, like, we're with the Al Qaeda leader and like his family and stuff, and then we're with Jack Ryan on his trying to track down, and then like the stories collide. You know what I'm saying? But when you're on the terrorist side, everything's justified in how he feels. Again, right and wrong is too black and white or too one-dimensional because it's like he has a reason to feel everything. It turned out, it had a big thing about drone bombings. It's like, all right, we got the drones going, and apparently a lot of our drone attacks kill a lot of civilians. It's like at some 80% rate or something of like missing or something like atrocious. Any number's too big, but it's bad. And so the whole thing was there was a drone attack. The drone hit a school, killed all the kids. The leader of the terrorists, his kid was in the school, so killed his son, killed his school, and then when they reported, they just reported in like the road news and wherever, insurgents killed whatever. Didn't even mention the fact that they killed a whole school full of people because they can't. And you have congressional meetings on why they can't drunk. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just policy, and they deal with it from both sides of that, which was it's a great show. So by the end of it, you're just like, okay, I get why he's saying fuck America. I'd say fuck America. fucking on a blue sky day, a bomb dropped out of nowhere. You can't see the drone. It's not like I saw it and like there was a warning, there was a siren.
Yeah.
No, it was explosion, and then you're just like, oh, there's nothing I can do about this. It's completely helpless. They've killed the family. They didn't even acknowledge that they did it. And then not only that, you also see people get like awards and shit for it. You know what I'm saying? Like congressional medals, and so you're just like, oh, okay. They really. So you got to see him twist in this.
Get to that breaking point. With that.
Yeah, and like so, at that point you're kind of like, well, I'm not rolling with him because it's obviously wrong, but I wouldn't be the one to tell him like that he's wrong because like.
But like if he ever kills a civilian, that's that lack of self-consciousness. The whole reason you broke is because somebody went and killed civilians that were close to you, and you just repeat the cycle.
Yeah, but it's not even I wouldn't say it's lack of self-conscious because he knows what he's doing, why he's doing it. But like if a certain amount of things happen,
Or
you
a
also
lack
don't.
of perspective.
Well,
And what he's doing.
see, not like it's really just it's eye for an eye kind of like it's straight up.
That's not a self-conscious viewpoint. Eye for an eye is you took from me, I'm hurt, I'm going to go take from you. Not I see how that hurt me, I'm not going
I think
to
I want
put
to
that
know.
on
I want to know what is a self-conscious point of view by your what it mean?
you. What would that be?
I'm just-
Or I guess in the example of a terrorist, it would be not becoming a terrorist because
No, not an example. More of a definition, if you could. 'Cause I mean, I don't disagree with you, but like
a
you can't write off how someone feels, though.
a perspective that
Especially if that's based in something.
a perspective that understands how one feels, but also understands the consequences of the actions they want to take.
See, but that's completely self-conscious. That's him. I'm angry. I want to hurt them. It's a revenge. Like revenge is very self-conscious. Like
But does he go kill civilians? Like that's my big thing. If he do civilians die from the terrorists in the show?
That's a decent question.
Yeah, because like if you're just
I'm trying to remember the actual attack. I don't remember. I don't know if he got anything off.
because like for most terrorists, I agree. Like their perspective is pretty much fully justified. But like those guys that flew over, did 9/11, like they're missing something. What made you fly over and do that? It was a lack, not a thing that you had.
See, I don't know. And I don't want to sound like a moment I'm trying to justify terrorism, killing civilians, because I'm finding myself on the side of the defense. And it's the slipperiest of slopes. I'm not radicalized. But I can say, but like,
And I'm not saying I'm not saying that it's so bad.
or just I guess it's just a what would you do? Like how would you cope with it? Like just put you like really.
Oh, I don't think I'd be so much different, but I also don't think that I'm the most self-conscious person. I actively am trying to become that.
Okay.
So that's, I don't know.
Because you don't do nothing.
Yeah,
You don't. Tomorrow's just not like, all right, well that sucked. You know what I'm saying? Like something.
You know, Martin Luther King, he found a way to turn the other cheek.
No, but that wasn't turning the cheek to do nothing though.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. Like he was
But-
constantly.
But there's plenty of things between nothing and violence.
But also that's different. I mean, you're right.
Gandhi?
No, but see, we can't conflate. It's not. They didn't do nothing though. That's what I'm saying. Like like Martin Luther King whole protest. He
Yeah.
just knew they couldn't win it through violence. Like because violence was on the table.
Yeah.
Malcolm X brought violence. He's like, yo, grab some guns, find your local white person, and shoot him in the fucking face. I'm sure that's not what Malcolm X stood for exactly, but I'm just saying
It's very close.
that's a very rough synopsis of like what was on the table of things, or like South Africa.
Yeah, go to South Africa.
No.
Go to Africa.
No, South Africa apartheid. When apartheid was ended and Nelson Mandela was put in office, voted in and stuff, violence was on the table. Because South Africa is a special case where the black people were oppressed, but they were also the majority. So if they were like, you know what, fuck this shit, they could kill all the white people. That would have took like a week. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they were like, this is what's happening, that's why Nelson Mandela is so celebrated, because he didn't do that. Everyone thought that's how apartheid was going to end. It's like, oh yeah, we're either going to have to leave or they're going to kill us all. Because we've been holding back their rights for, you know.
I think that's what makes the difference, and that's why it's so celebrated. Because I think that everybody would say that they're the one that has that reason, that justification. They'll all say it. They'll all act on it.
No.
But it's that great perspective, that great foresight that encourages someone to take action that is probably unexpected or creative, instead of just going about vengeance or keeping the same cycle. You're just furthering the same thing.
See, I guess, I don't know if it takes, I don't know if that's self-awareness or intelligence or
foresight, I don't know.
Humanity. Because I put the Martin Luther King versus the Nelson Mandela example, because that wouldn't have been the smart case in the Martin Luther King situation. Let's grab your guns and, in the South, like, white people are going to have guns too, and this would be a very fast and tragic battle, and we would all just be in a mass grave. You know what I'm saying? Because we're way outnumbered. It's not close. I would say, but to that point, Django, which is not really based on real things, well, real story, but slavery happened. That I felt like that was a big, a very interesting segment Tarantino put in there with Leo DiCaprio, where he was just sitting around the table. He's like, you know what I wonder every day? Why don't they just kill us? Like, it's only 3 overseers out there. They're drunk half the day, and there's 50 slaves on the plantation. If they just took the pitchforks and killed us, it would be over in like an afternoon. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was like that was consciousness. That was like, but, so, I don't know. You have to have some so, I would justify that killing. Martin Luther King's killing, you can justify because that's a smart thing to do, is to take the peaceful approach, because then it made it even more compelling, but it made the actions against them more egregious. Because, like, all right, so we sat down in a restaurant. They told us to leave. We said we didn't want to leave because we have the right to stay here. So they dragged us into the streets and took dogs on us and high-power hoses. One doesn't match the other, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but if they had went in, sat down in the restaurant, they were told to leave. They didn't leave because they didn't want to. And as they're telling them to leave, they turned up and said, fuck that, and started trashing the place. When they carried him out and had the dogs hit him, that's not as egregious, because now it's like, well, they had to because they were, acting out, or you can say whatever you want at that point. Yeah. You can really write that narrative, but it's like, no. We had kids, they dragged the kids into the street and beat the shit out of them, and they actively weren't lifting a finger. Like, there's no argument to that. That's why you take that approach, and this is the creative way to go about it, but that makes sense.
That one's in the absence of other options.
The Nelson Mandela was sheerly off of empathy and peace, because that would have worked. Like, if Nelson would have been like, okay, raise your pitchforks and we're getting them out of here. You have 24 hours to leave, or it's the purge out here. He was in the right to do, in the right as in he just could have done it. He was president, and everybody on the planet understood that this is like the 90s, apartheid level racism. Like we did this in the 60s, like got rid of it. So it's just like, it would have been people would have been like, ooh, that's fucked up, but like we get it, we get it. You wouldn't condone it, but like you wouldn't
condemn him for it.
I don't know, maybe, but like I don't know. You would understand it though completely, because I don't know. You'd probably still be condemned, like genocide's genocide, but I don't know. I don't know how that would have played out exactly, but like they would have had a chance to be the ones able to write the history. So I don't know. So it's kind of three different cases where violence is justified, and they didn't happen on any of the cases. Well, there were slave uprisings and stuff, but that didn't stop slavery. Had to be a bigger war, and that wasn't just us versus them. It was us with allies versus them. So I guess everyone came to a violent end, but it was different. And then one was not violent end. Well, shit, it was a violent end, but not a violent way of getting there. Like Martin Luther King was shot and Kennedy was shot, so can't say it wasn't. Violence came with it. And then apartheid, there was none. That was the cleanest. I don't know. I just find it interesting, but I don't know if it's completely self-awareness. And then there will be also a lack of creativity, I would say, in some of these cases. And I can't blame everyone for not being creative or anyone for not being as clever.
I could even change it from self-consciousness to a mixture of just cleverness and foresight. Foresight might be the more important thing. You need to be able to see, if I do this thing here, what's the most likely result? Because those terrorists, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to go fight the Americans. But what do they think's the result? Like, we're not going to stop fighting when you start fighting harder?
Yeah, but they just want you to feel what they feel. Like,
yeah, but that's not getting what you need done. Like, you're still getting bombed. The problem remains.
Well, I'm not saying no. You're right. It's not a. I'm just saying this is why it's happening.
Oh yeah.
This is all. That's all. But I guess.
But being so stuck in that feeling is the whole reason they don't have that foresight or that cleverness, because they're stuck in. In what's justifiably.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's not like they should just be okay or something. But
okay, I guess, but you have to take it from there. I guess the whole thing. We don't. I think that's where it is. Like, you have to take it from. These hurt people. You can't forget that. These aren't unhurt people hurting people. Like, and if you can take it from there, then you can help the hurt people.
Yeah.
But like, you have to make it like it's not for nothing. You're not screaming hate America because nothing. You're screaming hate America because you killed my family. Like, you didn't even think about it. I had it, or like, you know what I'm saying?
Like we were saying, with most people not having good perspective.
But their life, to an extent, is kind of over in their minds. That's also a big thing as well. And so if I'm angry and my will to live was literally snatched from me, like, I couldn't imagine having a son and then just something tragic, just, I gotta go find that person. Like, I'm now Liam Neeson. Like, I wish a nigga would. Like,
I will find you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I get, like, it's just not for nothing.
But my thing is that and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that these people are bad for doing the things they're doing. They're average. That's the average thing to do. You're expected to do that. Take vengeance if somebody goes and blows up your son. Like that's an average action.
That's fucking this average action. I get what you're saying.
It is though. Like you gotta at least think about it. Like Jimmy down the road blew my son up. I think I need to go fight him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go kill Jimmy.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
The thought has to happen.
Fair enough.
But you're above average. You're reaching greatness when you can have that kind of tragic thing happen and still be like, yo, I maintain my wits. I maintain that perspective. I'm not gonna go spread that same bullshit that happened to me. It's horrible that it happened to me, but
I feel like you can only have that if you come up with an alternative.
Yeah, it's always going to be an alternative, but I can't say the alternative because I don't have.
Yes, I'm saying.
Like Gandhi, I'm looking at him right now. He was the British king. They were ruling in India. He's doing these protests so that they don't fight, but so that he can get the freedom that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is something that repeats itself. That's why I was saying Martin Luther King, and I thought that Nelson Mandela was even better. But those kinds of people, they rise above that. The regular kind of reaction, and they see the bad shit. They have reasons, all the justification to be angry, but they deal with it calmly, strategically, and in a way that ends things and breaks cycles.
Yeah, that's why they're great people. I just don't expect that from everyone.
Well,
or I don't know if you can.
I don't expect it, but I think that it's a sign that you're really, really zoned in.
I mean,
and able to. Well,
yeah,
actually, no. I would say more that it speaks to your ability to maintain a state of mind under pressure more so than.
It's not even. It's just a different level.
It's a weird thing.
I feel what you're saying, but I think you're discounting tragedy to an extent, just because it's such a whole. That's an encompassing. I mean, it's just a whole switch of everything, and again, if the person's not clever to come up with an alternative, nothing is not an option. I can't. That's the clearest. I mean,
no, that's why I very clearly was like, that's the regular.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but this is happening to. This is not like happening to like one or. This is like
majority. Yeah, that's the majority, the vast majority.
Well, hold on, wait.
The vast majority of people that go through tragedy end up going through those kinds of emotions. Is what I'm saying.
I don't know if that's true either. Because like everyone that.
I guess you can scale it, but
maybe I don't know.
You drone strike someone's son, I feel like they become Liam Neeson. I just think that's kind of automatic.
But I mean, like even because you said you go too big. I feel like sometimes like with like because you're saying like everyone deals with tragedy. I feel like maybe because it is violent out here, and maybe I'm discounting that as well. Because like we're talking about just terrorists, but like tragedy happens on every level.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't have to be like mass anything for it to be tragic. Only one person has to be affected that matters to one other person.
That's why I was using like the segregation or the British occupation, because they're giving you lots of reason not to like them there.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I'm just like someone ran up in here and shot you, like right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, said something wildly deceptive, showed me his face and then ran. I don't when I move. but like tomorrow's not like nothing happened. Like I don't know exactly what the steps are next, but something happens. I gotta go find somebody. I'm asking questions. My Spanish gets way stronger, way faster. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like something
start flipping.
Shit has to go down. Like, and I can't even. I don't know. I can't. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't.
Even in that kind of occasion, though, like the Kevin Hart skit was the best. There's always that one guy at the funeral that's like, I'm gonna avenge his death.
Who's cancer? Where's he at? Yeah.
It's just so natural to get to that place. And at least thinking. Like, that's why I said that too, because you don't always have to do it, but the thought is really, or how long you can maintain that thought.
But I guess if you don't do it, what do you do? See, I guess that's the thing.
Well, that's what makes the difference between great men and average men.
No, there's a different. There's something else though. Cause I mean, like, cause there's violence. We've taken violence and there's non-violence, or it could kill you. Like, I feel like that's. I think. See, I don't know if I would like to think most people don't go on revenge runs out here. You know what I'm saying? But people die every day, so yeah, it's probably what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but it could eat away at you, as well. Like, you know, people fall into drugs and.
Shout out to my boy in Vegas, Bradley, and I'm sorry for your loss even to this day. But like, his mom got murdered by his pops. His pops runs to Mexico, and that's like some of the first things they're talking about. How are we gonna find this guy?
Yeah.
Kill him.
How did this end? Or
Yeah.
what? No, I mean, I'm asking.
Oh no. He got away.
Oh, so
for now he's in the win.
Okay, so the better question is Bradley.
Yeah.
We don't have to keep.
Let's just omit you.
Well, I'm not gonna go back and bleep anything, so it's.
You don't need to.
Don't say his last name.
Everybody just forget about that.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not done with your boy. What did he do then?
I mean, he was depressed for a long time, and he started working out a lot. Mm-hmm. Started getting his shit together. Then he started drinking a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, it was a mixture of doing good coping mechanisms and bad. He was taking a little bit of both, but.
Is he still?
He's still out here. He's healthy.
Okay.
Or Facebook profile picture healthy. Whatever that says.
Whatever the fuck that means. Yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, something's gonna happen.
Yeah, you have to have stuff happen, but like the way you react, like if Bradley had the power, I'm sure he would have got that man and killed him.
Yeah, but because then also like, because I would then like, what should he do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the?
I mean, I guess we can go superhero. They killed your parents. You become a detective so that other people don't kill other people don't kill other people's parents.
I guess that's not even like detective work. That's what I'm saying. There's no mystery. Like that's how like you get like the Flash or something. Like for real. No, I mean like besides minus the superhero running shit, his mom dies. He becomes CSI.
Yeah.
And just investigate crimes because he never was able to catch it. And then I know who did it. He like that's what I'm saying. There's no. So you don't. I would discount that.
No, but I say that because I guess the moral of it is that you turn your trash into treasure. If you can take loss and turn it into strength, you're doing something right.
100%.
And I think that all those people we previously mentioned were able to do that. They took what was bad, bad sides, and they put it to their advantage. But it's just so hard to do.
I'm just saying
the different situations.
I'm just saying. I'm on. Like, what would you do? Like, what do you? I mean, well, not. It's hard. It's impossible.
So
really.
Hard to know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, or
like,
not
I'm
even,
not gonna react well.
I guess like, not even what would you do? What should that person do? You know what I mean? Like, what is best case scenario minus like a superhero origin story? Like, for real.
Honestly, I feel like that's the reason we like superheroes is because that is kind of it. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
that's how you should handle it. Minus the bad habits they put on all of these zeros.
But what is that? I mean, what?
You take what was your loss and you try to turn it into a strength, or you try to turn it into something that would help other people not go through the same loss you did.
Help people.
Yeah. And like, if you experience great loss, you should be intimately familiar with that loss, and you should be able to have the empathy to either make that your path or go about whatever else you want to do. But I feel like, especially when it's tragedy, it changes your life. And
yeah, I think about helping people that have maybe gone through it. That's an option, but you have to make it through it.
Yeah.
And I guess we're skipping a step, because how do you?
Well,
I mean, I guess we don't.
I guess that's like mourning mixed with making sure you don't let your habits go to hell, and making sure you keep talking to your people. That's the roughest thing I can come up with off the top of my head.
No, I get it, but I agree with those things. I just see that all that's all just preservation. You know what I'm saying? There's no real, I guess once you're able to make it past that point, then the helping other people is like more action and more actionable thing. But like, I don't know. I guess we should respect just this dumbfoundedness, or at least
yes.
Because I guess that's my. I guess more than
disrespect the perspective.
We don't even count it. Like, that's what I'm saying. I guess that was my original point somewhere. Like, we at least you gotta at least give the perspective, like, put yourself in.
Giving their side of the story.
Did people stop putting themselves in other people's shoes? And I mean that just phrase-wise. Like,
yes.
I feel like I haven't heard that phrase since I was
Our lack of phrases is really seeming like it takes things to shit. And I feel like even if you're talking to a regular person, using phrases improves your whole dynamic. I honestly believe
that's why,
like, better safe than sorry. If you say that to someone instead of saying, "Oh, put your seatbelt on," you get a different reaction. It's a different thing. Yo, well, why should I do this? Better safe than sorry. Are you trying to die?
Yeah. I was trying to think of like two things at once, and I don't think I came up with either. Because I was trying to come up with, nope, can't even remember what I was trying to come up with there. And then over here, I was trying to nope.
No, the car thing, I had Kanye West drive slow home, never go home. And then he had another seatbelt line through the wire.
And then the other things lost forever.
Yeah, but it's key. Like, I mean, I would think that Kanye West, even specifically, I would think that, like, with his car accident, like, let's not even talk about his mom, because I don't know those details. But for that car accident, I'm sure he's talking to Kim K about driving alone in that car different than your regular guy. Like, yo, is the seatbelt on? He's probably in the window, like, yo, put it on now.
When do you think the last time Kanye drove this?
I wouldn't be surprised if he never drove again, but...
I mean, just last time. Like, outside of like a four-wheeler and fucking on his property in, where's that, Oregon or... I don't know if you... Did I show you that video?
Nah.
Oh. It's whatever.
Yeah.
The one with... Yeah, we talked about it. That was like first episode.
We have talked about it, but I haven't seen it. Maybe... See, and it's also Uber, and he's flying, so I don't really see a need for the car at all.
You think Kanye West has ever taken an Uber? You think Kanye West has ever taken an Uber?
Dude, they have like the Super Uber, X Uber, whatever.
Questions.
I would think so.
I think there's no way now.
And I mean, the other celebrities, I've seen other celebrities directly talking about it, especially going
Kanye
out.
West. Like, I'm talking about Yeezy season. Talking about Yeezys. I'm talking about 2 polos on at a time.
Yeah, that boy isn't normal.
He's like, yeah, we can talk about a lot. I'm talking about Mr. West. Like,
With the daughter named Northwest.
I would bet a lot that Kanye does not have an Uber account. That Kanye still might not even know what that is. Because really think it like who?
See, but he has Kim K. That's the thing. I
Yeah.
She changes.
When the fuck do you? All right, way more than Kanye West. When the last time you think Kim Kardashian called him an Uber? The answer is
I know
never.
I saw her new one in Kim Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
That was for TV, and someone else called that shit. I swear to God. That makes way less. Like Kanye taking one is crazy. Kim K taking one is fucking
But
bonkers.
we're talking about like after the club shit though.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. What are you talking about?
How is she gonna get home then?
Every way possible. My driver's name is Mister. I came in a Suburban. What are you talking about? How's she gonna get home? Yeah, she's really trying to figure that. That's when do you think the last time Kim Kardashian had to figure out how to get home was?
I mean, I don't think that happened pretty much ever, but
I'm
saying though, like when that Uber came out, I really thought that was, especially because maybe it was some interview I watched. I remember a celebrity comes on, it's a woman, whoever she is, and she's talking. Maybe it was Joe Rogan, just maybe, but she comes on and she's like, yeah, I love using the Uber to get home because that cancels out any chance of DUI, anything.
sure.
Anything.
Uh-huh.
So she's like, no one has to be no designated driver, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. You were talking about them.
Yeah, but that's...
You can put them on level, like some chick on TV. Like, yeah, you can do that. No one's watching your show. Fine. Get an Uber. Like, this is... You know how bad I want a pair of Red Octobers? You understand who these people are? Like, I have disagreed with Kanye West for the last year straight. If I ever had just an extra $5,000-$10,000 just to set on fire, I'm buying those shoes. Like, they're still the hottest shoes I've ever seen. Like, yes. And that is ridiculous. That's the complete opposite of me. I feel like as a person. Like, but yeah, that's real. Nah, man. I'd be like, what does the Uber driver even say? Do you look like Kanye West or Kanye?
I think they have a special.
There's not even other Kanyes, walking around here. There's not like you don't get a guy that says, "Oh, Kanye." You're picking up Kanye, and you get there and it's some other guy.
I think they have the luxury vehicle Ubers or something like that, like a section.
You never saw when Kanye West was on Entourage.
Nah.
Dude, alright, so I think it's like a snow. You're not even familiar with Entourage. Yeah. Fucking swear to God, man. Like, how do you know I can do this?
Have you seen?
Like, what do you do? Like, what? No, I mean, no. It's
Kanye, fucking Kanye.
like, I get how you haven't seen it and don't even, but like at the same time, it was such a big thing when it was a thing.
I've heard of it. I've heard of a lot of the things I've missed, we
don't have to go through the list. It's too heartbreaking. There's nothing but tragedy on a list because it's all like great shit. Let's talk about Peaky Blinders. So this is a show on Netflix that Marcus is trying to get me to watch a couple weeks straight.
Yeah.
And he's going off, and it's in Old Britain,
Old England.
And
1900s.
you want to give a quick synopsis, or just
Okay.
A little bit, just to set a scene.
Yeah, we're fresh after World War One. You have a couple of gangsters that are veterans of the war. They're coming back to a gangster family that are doing organized crime, basically. And
They're fixing races.
yeah, they're fixing horse races.
That's like a big thing.
And they're trying to expand. They want to get as big as possible. So you're seeing the story of something like a power. I started thinking about it as like a British version of Power almost.
Okay.
But that's a little breakdown of what's going on.
Okay.
How were you liking?
So I watched. Like each season's like what, 6 episodes or something like that. Something kind of funky. I watched like 5, and the 5th episode pretty much finished for me.
Okay.
It just disappointed me. Like I was actually riding with it. I was pretty happy with it. Kind of until that point. Like basically we have an anti-hero. You know, he's not a bad guy. Like he has glimpses where he shows that he's actually a good guy, but he does bad things because it's family business. He's good at it, and you know that's a steal up. But being a good guy, he has to deal with those things. So like, excuse me, he's supposed to kill one guy, he doesn't kill the guy. So shoot a horse, he mourns that shit. So like you get to see his humanity broken through. I appreciate that. I like the thing with the hat with the razors. Those that was cool little insight. They have they wear the Kango razors, Kango hats, or whatever the style hats are called, and they would put razors built into the hats, so they always had a weapon on them without having a weapon on them.
Yeah.
And where do I want to start? Let's start with the music, 'cause that's the most egregious.
Okay.
It's bad. Like it's like aggressively terrible. Because it's like it was the last piece to be put in, and they ran out of money or didn't give a shit or something went wrong with the music selection. It's all like rock American. None of the music's from the age except for like the opening.
It's a lot of it's British rock.
But it's like electric guitars and shit.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
There's no electricity in this whole.
Yeah, but I mean, like, yo.
No, it's like hearing Tupac during Game of Thrones. This doesn't belong here. Like this doesn't. It completely made me. It literally
Took you out of it.
Not all the way, but like I had to remember what year it was. Like when is this again?
Yeah,
because like because it's aggressively, it's throughout, and it never truly matches. They try to match the feeling per se, but the period is it's a total mismatch. It's a hard mismatch, and the fact that it's an aged piece that's a weird thing to get wrong because you just keep it over the time like. And it doesn't have to be really anything big. Like, It should just be like background. It should be more of a score. It felt like old CW shows in that sense, where it's just like, let's put the new single on of the week, and you know what I'm saying. And then like literally during the commercial breaks or after the show, they'd be like, yeah, music in this episode was brought to you by, and you see the new album of the week, and you're just like, okay, but at least this is like present day, you know. When that was, we're talking about it's like hundreds of years ago. Like, so that part is bad. The women singing in the show, they prop them up to be these angelic shits, like where she literally. All right, so there's this woman that ends up being the barkeep of the tavern where all the gangsters hang out. She's undercover, whatever. But a slight spoiler, I guess, because I'm not gonna go heavy spoilers, but there's a couple. Not that we've. Hopefully, it's not too late for anyone that really cared.
Yeah.
But so literally, she goes in for this interview, or she's like, I heard you guys needed the bar key, and the guy immediately writes her off. Nope, too attractive, and. Honestly, that was the most sensible shit that happened in the show. Because he's like, no, dude, they're gonna have you. He's like, they'll have you against the wall. Otherwise, they're gonna rape this woman because these are just These are like the worst people that come to this bar. He knew it. He's like, you need to know this. I don't even know how you got here. Like nothing about your face says that you should even be here, right? Okay, so this old man is trying to tell her this and trying to get her to leave. She fucking stops. She gets on a goddamn chair, like watch this, and starts singing. And you're supposed to look at him, watch her sing, and look in his eyes and being like, oh, he's been taken away to this far off, peaceful place. And she's like, yeah, back in Ireland, I would sing to stop the boys from fighting. And you're just like, that? That's what you sung? That someone stopped to that shit? Like, it was garbage, son. Like, it was just not good singing. Like, Adele exists. Like Amy Winehouse exists. This is in England. So I know there's standards in the UK for fucking singing shit. Like, I was there. I was in an Irish pub in London this year. Shit was way better. Like, no one, if she would have walked into that pub on that bullshit, they would have gave her the same finger I gave my TV as this was happening.
And it's messed up because I feel like this is going to make you hate it even more.
Oh, no.
I think that was how the singing was at the time.
No. We've had examples of this done before. They sung throughout Game of Thrones. It was never that bad. Like, not once. They even brought in Ed Sheeran one time just to make sure you know it's good. But like, no. I've seen middle-aged singing before. That's why I was like, I have something to compare this to. She was just not good.
Yeah.
And that was just, if she was just to be the bar singer. They tried to roll this shit out like this was their superpower. Like, and that's how they roll it out. She also fucking uses it like a superpower, and it's respected as such throughout the show, at least in these 5 episodes that I watched. After old boy, the main character, kills the horse, he goes to the pub to mourn and to drink, and he wanted company. She's like, sing me a song. Would you like a happy or a sad song? A sad song. Well, I warn you, it's gonna be really sad. Gets on the chair, belts out this bullshit. And I'm supposed to watch her falling in love and, you know, apparently like evaluating his life in this moment. And just like, come the fuck on. Like, if this is really what you're trying to do, she should be better. Just better. Like, so that part, but I still muscled through that one more so. The fucking music in general, that crescendoed by episode 5. Like, they were like riding out. It was just heavy. It was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I was literally like talking to myself out loud, like, what year is this again? Like, what's happening? Like, are they flashing the feet? Like,
yeah.
So all right, that's 2. 3. Oh God. All right, and that's why I stopped where I stopped.
Okay.
So basically, the show goes through. You're on the side of the main character who's doing the crime, and he's being investigated, or his whole family's being investigated by, was he like head detective, or like, he's like national.
He became like the captain of the police department.
No, he's bigger than that though, because they flew in, or they came into the city.
They transferred him. That was his job, but he just was
'Cause they were supposed to
transferred in
leave.
for a purpose. Yeah.
Because you know they were supposed to leave, like, and she was like she wanted to stay.
Yeah.
She fell in love despite being warned not to do that, and you knew it was gonna happen, and the fact that they just let it happen, you're just like, okay, she couldn't even be the. I thought I was like, yeah, I'd be impressed if she actually goes through with this and is like cold. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
of course they didn't let that shit happen. So this whole time you're going back and she's reporting from the bar. She's going to him. And it's like an old dude, right? Older, top 50s, 60s, gray on top, old guy. And they have history where apparently he didn't like raise her necessarily, but he's known her since like a child or since she's been really
He
young.
was friends with the dad.
With her dad, who something happened to him.
Yeah.
Right. That's the dynamic. She's constantly looking at him as a father figure. I got weird. The entire time. She might have even said that. She even said at one point, because he's super overprotective, but he was also having to ask her to do things that you wouldn't want to ask anyone to do, because she has to be around these gangsters. She even at one point says, you know, I don't need you to be my father, whatever. So that's the dynamic. Get to the 5th episode. They finish whatever investigation. Oh yeah, they're trying to get these guns, right? That's the whole thing. They're trying to get these fucking guns that our main character ended up finding by chance and held on to them because he knew they were leverage. Because it's Britain and no one's supposed to have guns and they got fucking bazookas. So the whole thing was find the guns. They get the guns back. They didn't have to implement. She asked the. I wish I had their names because I'm just using a lot of pronouns.
The head detective?
Yeah, I'm just hoping. This is all clear so far? You've seen it.
Yeah, I get you.
I'm just hoping that it's clear.
The head guy is Campbell.
Okay.
The girl's name
The head
is
guy, the main character, or
the main character named Tommy.
Tommy's the gangster.
Yeah, the police officer who's playing against him is Campbell.
Campbell, let's stick with Campbell.
Yeah.
All right. Campbell gets the guns back through, what's her name? Grace. Through her detective work. Gets it back. They're about to transfer out, go back to wherever and get put on the next assignment. This motherfucker decides, now that this investigation's over, he's gonna cold propose to Grace. Like anybody was ready for that shit. And like that ever works, right? So he goes all in on said proposal. She says no because no shit. I'm not even looking for love. I'm just looking for someone to feel the same. It didn't even make sense when he said the words he said, right? She says no and is embarrassed for everybody. Showrunners, director, him, like, and he has the audacity. So, it's not because of him, right? Referring to Tommy. Oh my God. She doesn't even she should have just said fucking no. Because it's gross. Even though it was because of Tommy. But it wasn't because of Tommy. See, that's alright. That's pissing me off. That really fucking pissed me off. Because it wasn't, like, if that hadn't happened, if her dynamic with Tommy hadn't happened, he's still getting a hard fucking no. Because what the shit? It was gross.
Yeah.
Right? So he takes this to mean that she chose Tommy over him. Confirms it when he sees them together later, and then decides to go against his fucking word and then continue hunting down Tommy for some vendetta shit.
Well, my big thing for that was that was a continuation of him blaming others for his own fuck ups. And then
How do you even fuck that up though? That didn't make sense. It didn't even. There were no.
He never did anything, and then tried to just pop out William Merrick.
That made no sense though. Like it didn't make sense in the sense of anything.
He was trying to talk to her like a good old boy. He was trying to, you know, he thought he was courting. That's what he thought he was doing.
They didn't even make that. They should have made that
They made it
They didn't.
very clear.
No.
Even from like the very first scenes when it was like, yeah.
Nope. I completely disagree. Like because his energy made sense because they made it clear that he knew her since a kid, very protective over her. He never even tried to go. He never tried to kiss. He never had put his hand on the small of her back. He never even tried to take her out for dinner. They never shared a meal in the fucking show. Like they didn't. And I understood they couldn't be seen together, secrecy. They could have went to someone's house. They didn't even. He never even showed interest, like in a romantic sense, on any level, up into that moment. Like not once. It all came over. His energy made sense the entire time. I don't want you to do these things because I actually care about you because I fucking known you since a kid. Like I look at you like a dog. Like she even said, "I don't need you to be my father," because that was the dynamic that he was putting himself into, and you couldn't even fault him for doing it because it came from a good place. Until that point where you're just like, wait, so he wants what? It was so disgusting. I was so disgusted, and the fact that the whole plot pivoted off of that point. Oh, I was done. That was the end. I was like, I don't even know if I made some credits after that. Because it was so, it made no sense. It was the worst. It was the worst plot development I've seen in a long time. Well, yeah, in a long time.
Yeah, because for me, as I was watching that relationship develop, I felt like it was clear that he was trying to get with her, and I felt like that was clear at his first instances of jealousy toward Tom. Because you have no reason to be jealous.
No, he did though, because he knew he was dangerous.
No. That's the worry though. But
see, wait. When did he get jealous? When do you mean jealous?
I'd say that was like episode like 2, 3 when and the instance was they're talking and he's basically like she just finished telling him everything's all good. I have no feelings for this man. I'm getting my job done. I just made large progress towards getting the job done.
Yeah.
And he doubles down. Like, yo, I hope you're not interested in Tom.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that didn't come across to me as jealousy. That came across to me as him trying to stop the fucking.
But when the next thing you talk about is your relationship after that, it kind of makes itself known.
I want to say I wanted to watch that to try to even see that context. But it just made sense to me as a father figure. Because his whole thing was like, I don't want to have to ask you to do this, but you have to like embed yourself with them, embed yourself with the organization. That's why she became the barkeep. Mm-hmm. But then he had to come back on that as like, all right. I think maybe that was after Tommy told him. Had a meeting with old boy and told him he had the guns, and they set up a system. He's like, I need to do this. If you let me do this, then I'll give you the guns. You'll get a medal. We'll all be happy. And he was like, and he did the cop thing. Still made sense. It's like, all right, I can't really be put in this position. I got to go with this, but I can't be put in this position. We got to find those guns before he's able to do what he needs to do with it. So on that, he had to double down and tell him, like, all right, I hate that I have to fucking do this. Like, this is the last, and it's a very dangerous guy. Like, this dangerous guy doing illegal shit, and he's selling a girl that he's watched or helped raise in some degree, that by any means necessary. Otherwise, you gotta sleep with, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta get in there and figure out where the guns are by any means. That made sense. Why wouldn't I want, like, if you had like a daughter, the last thing you want her to do is hold herself up for information. Like, you know what I'm saying? For the sake of anything.
Yeah.
So that energy just made sense. He just came out of nowhere.
I thought the conversations really pointed it home, and when I was watching it, and I mean, this is.
So before he proposed, you thought that was possible?
Yeah.
Really?
Before we even got to where they found the gun.
Because they didn't even show the ring before that moment.
Yeah, I didn't need the ring. I knew he was trying to get with her though, just off of their conversations. Like it was clear, and it was also clear how they were playing the story because he was trying to woo her by being the good guy.
He wasn't. That's his job.
Everything he can to keep her out of danger, even though he's put her in the very job to be in danger.
But no, see, that's I don't see.
And then you have Tommy,
how you
who's
had
like,
that
yo,
difference.
I'm asking you to do some crazy shit, but I trust you to be able to handle yourself. Roll with me. I need a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And those two approaches play out just like they play out in real life.
I got that, but even that was dopey. She should have stayed because it's not like his didn't make sense. Like it's not like they should just not have been partners because he cared too deeply. Like that's why cops if they're too close to a situation, they won't let them work the case or whatever because you're too close to the situation. Like that's a whole thing, and that was that. Like it's not that either we're too close to the situation of the gangsters, but to be partners didn't make any sense because you're not, they're not equal or not. They were, but like he just cared too much about her. But nothing said romantic intent until that moment, and it just made me angry.
Yeah.
And the fact that like mattered so much, like if that would have happened and it just wrote off and then he just left and what I'd have been like that was dumb or whatever, but like
honestly,
but the whole
even his reaction was typical to me. Like that whole thing was not only expected, but it was typical. Like I thought it was like really normal because I've seen plenty of times in real life. You have the guy, he's acting concerned. He's so worried about this girl. They're best of friends. He just wanted some pussy. That's all.
But see, like you're saying that like she wasn't in real danger though. Like that was the thing. Like there was
she was in real danger that he put her in.
No, but it's not. You're kind of making it his fault. That's her job. Like he didn't give her the job. Like she did that at some point before. She might have been influenced to do it because he did it, but she had to go through training, be whatever in the academy. Like that was the whole process of shit. It just came down to like he wasn't copping being like, all right, I need your help with something. She's a cop. Like she's a whole police force. Like you know what I'm saying? Like so it's not that he put her, huh?
He directly calls on her to go on that mission with him.
That's only because she's there.
No. They go together to the city. Neither of them are in the city at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. They come in, but like I didn't know that was because of his request to have her on the thing. I missed that part, I guess.
Yeah,
because
they have
that honestly doesn't make that much sense. Yeah. Like why you call her into the field to begin with.
Because she's supposed to be so good at this job, and then that's why that keeps coming back. And then comes if you finish the season, all of that comes back to bite his ass with the police force because they're like, oh yeah, we saw what you were doing with that chick.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but that's what makes it so boring. Like,
oh, you got bored with it?
Well, just because it's so like her fall in love with Tommy, you knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, that was 101.
Oh, like subvert some real shit. Like that totally subverts like the strong woman thing. I guess I've seen too many good women characters to be put back in this bullshit.
Well, see, the thing is that these characters are developing. That's the thing.
Even so, that's what I'm saying. Like,
they're not just coming in as strong female characters. Like
a lot of them do. Like,
a lot of them do. But
I mean, like now, like that's what I'm saying. But she shouldn't have came in weak either. That's what I'm saying. Because she.
I mean, how weak was she?
In what? Well, weak enough for this even to happen. To fall in love with the person that you're trying to throw in jail, like that's really 101
shit. Killed him.
No, she should have done her job.
Yeah.
Like she should have just done her job. Like just do what the fuck you were there to do. Like
so the fact that they did that is what?
Yeah, because you knew that was gonna that was so. It's such a waste. Like it's so transparent. It's the lazy thing to do. Like it's the most women in the tower being waiting to be saved by Prince Charming shit. Like it's all the way back. It's that bad to me. Like it's.
But it was the reverse of that.
I'm not saying that's what that was.
Okay.
I'm saying as far as archetypes go.
Okay.
Like it's just you knew the moment. The moment
she
she
put
was
on the slow guitar with the eye contact.
The moment she was introduced to the show. The moment he said you have to infiltrate that fucking thing and she went to go be the barkeep. You knew what she was gonna do. I was hoping that she just wouldn't. Because I was like, they can't be that. Like, this is a Netflix show, right?
Yeah.
They made House of Cards. Like, I know that didn't end well because of some bullshit, but it was not because of what happened on screen.
Yeah.
And every time you thought some regular shit was gonna happen, they subverted it and blew your mind. Like, you didn't think the vice president could commit violence, and they had the reporter they had the exact same scenario. They had the exact same scenario in fucking House of Cards. They had the reporter, and she was going after the vice president because they knew he was doing shit. They didn't know what all he was doing, but the newspaper, she got hints of some bullshit going on. She does end up catching feelings, but then in the midst of this, he ends up using her, and then pushes her in front of a goddamn train on the subway line. Like, it was the most, like, what the fuck just happened moment that I can remember in TV history. Like, because he was like, oh, okay, they're falling into the shit. Oh, no. Like, and this was fast. Like, he was never, and there was never a disillusion about where his loyalties stayed. Even on the same show, his wife, she's not just a wife. like she's way bigger than the wife role that you've seen in that situation. Like her own agenda, her own motivation. You think she's going along with stuff or whatever. No, she's playing her own game, and it's like two puppet masters together. You never really see that. Yeah. So for the same channel, the same possible producer. I'm probably not saying producers, but like come out the same house and you fall right back into the bullshit that like it's just so old.
I feel like they do it and don't do it, and I mean Netflix has specific examples of both. I mean, House of Cards is an anti-example of that, but
I guess my point is everything else is an example of that. Like that premise is so bad it happens on like sitcoms. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just not smart.
yeah.
Like if you're gonna write something, you can be more clever than the first thing that comes to your mind. Like we have one strong female, we have one strong male. Let's make them together. And let's have this old guy try to get away. Like it's just. It was gross. It was gross, and then it just pissed me off. Like it was bad. And I didn't have to watch the other episode to know that this was gonna bite the guy. I knew, Tommy's gonna get away with it, and she's probably they're probably gonna now be a dynamic duo of crime in some aspects or whatever. And she knows how to subvert some shit because she comes from that side and whatever. It's like, I get it.
Spoiler alert, she dies.
Who kills her?
Huh?
Who kills her, though?
An assassin trying to kill him.
Oh, God. That's just a cop-out.
Nah, but the whole thing is that she wasn't supposed to last. That's kind of what my whole point was. She's not supposed to be the dynamic duo of, like, however many seasons House of Cards couple was together. However long they were together, they didn't last not half as long. And
is this happening in the first season or like later on?
No, that's like the beginning of like the second. Yeah, something like that.
I was about to say, all right, maybe I'll go watch the finale of the first season.
Yeah, no, because the thing is,
yeah,
and then there's still like the other characters, the female characters are dealing with their own shit, and I think that's you don't get the straight up just beat 'em up female until way later on, and that's only because she's forced in that situation. But
yeah, I don't know. It's just that whole.
Or how tough do you expect your female characters to be?
I just want to be elite people, if the possibility. Honestly, my bar for women on TV. That sounds crazy.
Well, the females.
I would give 3 pillars. I think. Yeah, I'm good with this. 3. I've never thought about this really all the way before, but my 3 pillars of women on TV would be from Park and Recreation, Leslie Knope, Game of Thrones, Cersei, and then number 3. Well, minus the very end, but and then the third would be Mrs. Underwood from House of Cards.
Okay.
So it's kind of like 2 villains, and then Leslie's like a superhero. Like Park, you.
No.
Yeah, no. It's a hilarious show.
Okay.
She's just the truth. I don't know, because there's no high stakes. Like she works for a Parks and Recreation department in a small city, and she's just trying to get things done. But she's tenacious. She's smart. She's wittier than everybody else. She cares about everybody else. Like she's
like the best character.
She's like one of my favorite characters of TV history. Like for real. Like really real. She's great. But yeah, that's my bar. Like Cersei did wrong, but she did it so right. And same thing with Miss Underwood. And they just didn't fall into the bullshit that you get, like House of Cards. The thing I appreciated the most, because they shattered it pretty fast. Cheating dynamics in couples, right? If you're a power couple, like honestly, if you're a couple, I feel like the only point of being a couple is the trust that you guys are together, right? Okay. As long as that's good, like that should be it. You shouldn't be with a woman and you're worried when she leaves the door that she's just gonna go fuck somebody else, and you're just never gonna know about this and find out dramatically. That's ever you're worried, that you shouldn't get, because I feel like that's a huge part of that point. So in House of Cards, they ended up, who did it first? I think he starts having like a relationship with this other guy. They go all the way. It's House of Cards in the pain. But like, she knew about it. Like you didn't know that she knew. Like they were doing it, and you're like, oh, it's gonna probably bring up problems. And then like she comes in and she's like, yeah, I know. Like they tell everyone everything. And it was that ultimate honesty where I was just like, oh, so that cuts out a lot of things, a lot of bullshit premises that usually come with couples or power couples, like those misunderstandings, infidelity. We're not dealing with any of this because we're going for the world. We're a real team. You could do this, but we know about everything. And it's us versus them. It's the strongest dynamic you've ever seen of that example. Yeah. So, it's just, they went out of their way to kill the boring archetypes that could come up, and then just presented you with some wild shit. Cersei was always the bad bitch from the beginning. Like she never took shit. Maybe she did for like a moment, and then she wiped that shit away quick, and she iron fist and all that. Yeah. And she was really scary. Like she was a real and then she would step up her insanity. Like it's like, you thought I was bad. You thought I was pissed. Watch me blow up a church with everybody in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, you think you're gonna make me walk through a city naked as you? All right. When I get up, I'm gonna have you raped forever. Like, you understand? Like, she never lost that intensity. She never, like, even when she was beaten down, she was just like, you should kill me. Like, it would be in your best interest to kill me right now. Because if I ever break these fucking chains, you know how I get down. You know how I get down.
Right.
She grabbed her balls for seasons. Like, say it with your chest, Cersei said it. Like, you know what I'm saying? She was the hardest person in the whole series for the entirety of it. I put her against anyone. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Ramsay Bolton was the hardest.
See, that's what I think he'd be the hardest. That would have been if you wanted to see a clash, that would have really been the one.
Yeah.
Ramsay versus Cersei. Because Cersei, I think, could show you some wilder shit.
I don't think she can. That's
See,
my thing.
I don't know. See, I don't think Cersei didn't have the time, I think, that Ramsay had. Because Ramsay felt like, the fact that he's able to, and this will be the end of the Game of Thrones conversation. But the fact that he was able to do all that shit to Theon and change him into a whole different person, that was like weeks and months of like psychological torture, and that's just because it was snowing and shit. Like, Cersei, I feel like, had shit to do and wine to drink. You know what I'm saying? But if given the situation, she would make that happen, or she would outsource it. Like, I go back to the nun. It's like, I don't have time to come down here and whoop your ass every day, but I got someone who's not doing anything and would be happy to whoop your ass for the rest of your life, and we're going to sew you up, because she thought about it the same way. It's like, no, it would be too easy to just beat you and, cut you. Because, like, the nun, she was like, kill me now. Like, no. That'd be way too easy. We're going to have someone tend to your wounds, going to get you back on your feet, and then we're going to fuck you up again. And we're going to do this until time ends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, no, she was a force.
That's what I'm saying.
I just don't think she was fucking with Ramsay.
Well,
because I think Ramsay was coming from a different brand of evil.
No, I think it's the same. I think it's the same brand, just more time. Like, if Cersei had shit to do, and she was like,
she didn't always have all that shit to do, is what I'm saying. And she wasn't just pulling that evil shit. Like, they both had time at one point in the show, and they used it very differently. That's all I'm saying. She was drinking a lot of wine, having a lot of meetings. He was going to a lot of meetings too. But before he went to bed, before that shower, he needs to say hi to Theon.
See, you're saying it like it was like a segment of his day. I feel like he dedicated whole days to this. That's what I'm saying. I feel like that's the difference. Like, I think if Cersei wanted to get down like Ramsay did, I think she would or could. But no one.
Oh, go ahead.
Her stakes were higher at all times. Because if she were, and think about even deeply, like if she got caught, if she had like a Theon, let's say Theon rolled up to King's Landing and she put him in the same treatment. She had the same axe to grind and all that shit. Like, I don't think the only thing that I think would stop her from doing that as blatantly as the way Ramsay did it, because she's kind of still on stage as well. Like, she's on the Iron Throne. Like, that's why Joffrey was like, everyone was like, all right, Joffrey gotta go, because Joffrey didn't give a fuck. He's also a kid. You know what I'm saying? But, like, she birthed Joffrey, obviously. What are we talking about? You think she can get down like Ramsay? She birthed Satan. Like, what do you think's in her bag? I'm saying, she has shit to do.
Now, Joffrey, he won in terms of just being a monster.
Oh, he was the worst. Well,
no, like,
yeah, he's just a monster.
And the worst part was, his was effortless. Like, they used to scheme and come up with it. He'd get you on the spot. Like, I see what you're doing, come with me.
And that's another one. He just had too much time for the power he had. Like, yeah. But we can't. I refuse to stay here. I'm goddamn.
If you do want a show with stronger female characters, I like Peaky Blinders. I thought they had strong character development more so than their female characters.
I screwed both, I think.
Hmm?
I don't think Tommy really evolved in the season that I saw, or the 5. Because he came in the game, he was soft. Like, he didn't soften. He didn't really even harden. He's just on a tightrope the entire time.
He softens by the end of the season. Then,
Because for him to soften, I think he would have had to kill that first guy.
I mean, like, his softening was even. They make a point of it, actually. They directly say it, like, yo, you're going soft on us.
See, the fact that
more than once.
That's exactly my problem. They had to say it.
Like, no. But I'm just saying that because those are occasions that they directly say it.
But I'm saying,
like, they have
a
number of occasions. It's just easy to say, yo, they directly say this.
Yeah, but you see, they're just doing that because they have to do that.
Show, don't tell.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying.
Because, and then also you should have a higher, a more, a steeper slope to go down. Because again, like, that's why I even started this whole thing when I described him. He's the anti-hero, but he's still kind of he has hero qualities, or he's not all villain. Because he could have came in the game like a villain and then softened up with the girl. I would have respected that a little bit more than a forced softening. Because the fact that he didn't, like, he had that one guy he was supposed to kill and send him on the boat, and when he shot him and he fell into the boat, he thought he was dead, and he woke up and he's wanting to send a message. He should have killed him. Like, that was just good strategy. Would have been to kill him. He knows too much. And
that wasn't. Though.
Huh?
That wasn't though.
What?
The whole strategy of not killing him was so that he can not only hide the guns, but put him in a position where he was monitoring the enemy. So
yeah, he didn't do either though. The guns were taken.
He did both.
The dude?
Yeah, the guy that got fake killed. Yeah, until he comes back, everything's fine. He comes back to town. He's like, yo, things are going on. Da 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 da. In London, they started going over there. Or no, that's second season. Before they even start going over there, he's still back. And then that's when things with Grace and them start escalating. And that's okay, let me not. I don't know if they bought the horse.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
Because, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess for the sake of, not for the sake of good strategy, because I guess he's still a usable person. I'm saying for the sake of the narrative that he's a crime boss, like, softening down from this grizzled thing, he didn't present him as that to begin with. Like, that, him not killing the guy, his strategy justified his empathy for not killing him. Because he was even told to do that. Like, and she even lied to the woman about that. Like, if he were really saying with his chest, he'd be like, no, I have a better plan for this. The fact that he had to lie about killing the guy in the first place, you see what I'm saying? Knows that he's being softer than he should be being.
He told everyone he died so that he can use his grave to hide the guns. So they think it was a body in there.
That was his grave.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Yeah, bro. Your memory of the show ain't that good right now.
No, I got so angry. No, honestly, the music was the first straw that really. It was both of them happened at the same time on that 5th episode. Like, the music happened and it comes in crazy after the bowls or something, like pretty much in that order. And I was just like, I'm so mad. Like,
Yeah.
All right, that's. Well, no.
You might need to watch the season one more time.
No,
bro.
that's definitely not happening. No, but I double down on that. You can put in guns with a fucking body. Like, you can. I'm doubling down.
Nah.
I don't know. I felt like that was more to justify, because he does that.
It double justifies
That, and then when he killed the horse. I don't even remember why he had to kill the horse.
He had to kill the horses just because it was injured already.
It was
needed to be
injured.
put down. Yeah.
Okay, that's.
It just needed to be put down, but
They made it
a big part of the story was that he lived his whole life being a gypsy, traveling around and loved horses. That's his big thing.
Okay, I mean that was fine. I guess I think I walked out.
But see, part of his character development is even the transition from dealing with horses to dealing with cars. And I would even take that as a representation of how he's dealing with the people around him, because that changes as the show goes on.
Then why did he lie about the horse then? About killing the horse? He said he
never lied about killing the horse.
He lied about why he killed the horse right after in that bar scene, before she sung the terrible song.
He said because he looked at me wrong.
Yeah, that sounded way crazier than the horse was just had to be put down. 'Cause people put down horses for being injured.
No, but
that's not an uncommon thing.
But he also directly tells her like the time he meets her before that. Or no, not the time he meets her before that. He's talking to another person and they're like, what do you do? I don't answer questions. That's the whole thing. He's not telling people straightforward information. That's his problem.
I'm not riding. Because that makes no sense. That's way worse. It's just a way worse. That's a bad lie. That makes no sense. There's no...
I mean, I don't think it was a lie. I think he was saying it to...
It was bad.
More or less to say it.
It's bad. I hate it. Like, because it makes no sense.
Yeah, and I mean...
Like, what are you trying to paint yourself as? Like, I'm this extra badass who just kills horses for... Like, what? Who? What? Who gets points off of that? Like, that's...
Yeah, and I mean...
insane. Like, no. It was business.
Also,
to be put down.
Drunk dude morning, having conversation.
He wasn't even drunk yet.
With a motherfucker that he's...
drunk yet. He just grabbed the bottle. This is the very beginning.
Oh, okay, well...
I'm saying, like...
A morning motherfucker that's talking to somebody that he thinks might be a snitch.
He didn't think he was a snitch at all.
He had just had a conversation with Arthur about him giving the girl information. That was the whole thing.
Watch the shit again. Bro, this is the whole part. So,
that was like more than one episode.
Well, that makes even less sense that their whole thing went on forward.
He wanted the information she had. That by the end of the season, she's giving him information. That's how he's finding a lot of the stuff.
But he knows that he was police, though. Huh? He knows that she was police.
No, he doesn't know why she has this information until she tells him, like, "Yo, I'm police."
Oh.
And that's only happening because when the guns come up missing, he's like, "Okay, where are the guns?" Arthur's like, "Yo, I told the girl about the guns." Okay, obviously we know who got the guns.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put a bow on this because I might have missed whole chunks of shit. But I stand by the music. And honestly, that was bad enough. No, I mean, I had other examples that pissed me off. But the music being as egregious as it was.
The music, I could see somebody not riding with it.
It just didn't make sense. It was bad decision choices.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I saw how they were trying to do it. They wanted to get like British rock bands and stuff.
Fuck.
And then later they do jazz for the 20s, but it's...
At least that happened in the 20s. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you can't have a whole...
No, but I don't know what they...
Led Zeppelin guitar solo and,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You talking about like that first time he does cocaine?
Dude, there's a couple, it happens a lot. Like, just listen, next time you watch it, just listen to the music specifically, and it should enrage you. Like,
yeah.
Because it doesn't match anything that's going on. Like, it's so, or it might match the mood per se, but like,
yeah,
it doesn't match the time at all.
Yeah, it does.
And that's way worse, honestly. Because it can, because the moment you notice it, it can take you all the way out of it. It's just like, wait.
Honestly, I never noticed it at all. Like, I just
listen.
Yeah, I had just watched. It went with the mood. That was the big thing. It went with the mood well, and I didn't expect anything on the soundtrack, so I thought it was.
No one ever does, but that's kind of. It should just blend in. Like, it should never stand out. Or it should, you know, even when it's supposed to accentuate something, like, it shouldn't. It's like a sore thumb, and it should just be era appropriate. Like, just on top of everything. Like, just why wouldn't it be? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Especially especially if you want to use the premise at all that music matters within the show. Her singing was not a small deal in the show. She got the whole job off of it. She got in his graces through giving him a personal concert. So to even make that a thing and then have a weak soundtrack on top of that is kind of.
I also want to mention that she got into his graces by beefing with him. That was how she got into getting into it with him. She was like, "Yo," she was like, "I'm trying to do the singing, you won't let me." And he was like, "Nah, it ain't happening." And she was like, "Well, this is the thing." He needed something from her. She was like, "This is the thing. You're gonna pay me this amount of money. You're going to get me this, and then you're also going to let me do this every week. I'm gonna sing once a week. That's it." And he's like, "You gotta do." And
Okay,
then at that point, he's like, "Oh, so you're that's what he said. You're not afraid of me?" Like, "No, I'm not scared." Or, I am scared, but I love to sing more than I'm scared of you. And
that doesn't just make you want to flip a chair? Like, does it really? That doesn't for you?
That's the kind of motherfucker you gotta be to deal with a motherfucker like that.
I mean, she should be better than that. That's women characters come too far to see it thrown away for.
I mean,
a British period piece.
A big thing for me is that I don't need all my female characters, and I don't need female characters in every show to be the savages.
No, but she was put there to be that though. Like that was kind of her thing. Like immediately, just by the position of where she couldn't be a weak character because she's pivotal and she's on both sides. Like we're getting insight from the police side through her, and she's infiltrating, and we're starting to see them through her eyes. Like, they close the door and you see her listening in on the conversations from outside the door. We're on her perspective. Like she's a driving force for the story. And there's gangster shit happening. You should go to The Wire. Snoop is the scariest woman I've ever seen on TV. She's still like death to me. She would just kill you. If you saw Snoop, she was the last thing you saw.
So,
like, I don't need
So, bar her fully snitching and betraying. What would she have had to do to be the character you needed?
What was the?
Yeah, without her actually just fully getting Tommy locked up. Is that the only way it would have been?
I didn't even mind her empathy at the end, and he turned against it. But honestly, she should have left after that, or
she leaves. Okay. Now the timeline. That's why the timeline didn't make sense to me. She leaves at the end of the first season, leaves for a chunk of the second season, and then comes back, and that's how that happens.
Okay. All right. She did leave then.
Yeah,
What does she need to do? I guess not.
Then she comes back, they get married, and she dies.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I hate that. I don't know. I don't like it. She should just be her own thing. I guess she was constantly being, in my opinion, I think she was only being developed through the other two male characters. She didn't
have her own shit enough.
No. I don't know what that. I'm trying to think what that means. I don't know what she.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole story for her, but she just fell into. She's predictable, and she fell into old archetypes that I just thought were better than. Yeah. Not to say that she's the only weak. I'm not. As mad as I'd be with her character, you can quadruple that shit for old boy, her detective partner. He's way worse.
Oh no, he's.
The fact that he had any of that in his mind going on the entire time is
he really was the thing that he was the nasty dude that really exemplified how fucked up and pussy dudes be acting with this stuff. Because when I was watching it throughout the season, I felt like I was watching real life. I was like, yeah, I've seen someone do this, and this is exactly how it played out, actually.
Yeah, I guess I'm not saying that's not true. I don't want to see it on television, I guess, or just that version of.
You don't want to see that story.
No.
Yeah, you want to see the female be a Snoop or a Cersei of some kind, basically.
I don't know. Like,
and then the dude not be so bitchy.
He was the worst, honestly. I've been going in on her forever. I have more problem with her singing over everything else we're talking about, honestly. The fact that was supposed to be a special thing.
Yeah.
But if we're really talking about, he's the real. That was the worst scene I've ever. Like, I was so mad.
You said he went back to her.
Well, I guess she was just involved in the bullshit, but she didn't ask for it, and that was the point too. But like it was just really like, what the fuck is happening? I was so blindsided by that, and it was just so gross. Like I was just like, it didn't make sense to me on any level. Yeah, there's just a period that comes after that. It was just crazy to me. I wasn't ready.
The singing turned my mom off a lot. I convinced her to watch the first episode.
Yeah, that shit was insane.
She was like, where did they get this white woman?
I had the same fucking thoughts, yo. So I was like, yo, if this is gonna be the point, they should have got a better singer. Because you could find a fine singer. Why did they go with her if that was gonna be the point? Or if she had to be the one, you could dub over that shit too. That is a fucking option. You get some real singing. Like, it made no sense. She's just so mediocre. Like, it was so.
I felt like they were trying to go for like that scald kind of a feeling, dude.
I don't even know what that word means.
Those are those singers that be at the fucking like local places. They're not like really good. They're not professional, but they just are kind of.
That's fine, but those people don't walk around saying my singing stops fights. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you understand? That's the bravado she came in with, and everyone agreed on. When she sings, shit stops, and everyone gets in their heart and their feelings and shit, and like grown men are crying in the corner. Are you kidding me? Like, you should all kill yourselves if that's happening, because fuck your lives. Like, that was atrocious.
Y'all sound real soft from this side.
Not even soft. Y'all sound like
moist.
It sounds bitch made, and you had no standards. like how you have both? Like, you can't. Like, something has to give. Like, you can't. If all I needed was one glass to be thrown during one song, get the shit out of here. I would have already watched the entire show. Like, I just needed one moment of clarity from anybody. Just an extra. I just need someone, shut the fuck up. She didn't even have to stop. But I just need someone to express it. Like, I couldn't be the only one. Like, it was bad. It was bad.
You needed somebody to acknowledge it.
It was bad. Because it makes me feel like I'm not watching the right thing. Like, am I the only one hearing what I'm hearing? Like, we've heard Beyonce. Like, Adele is from where you're saying you're from. Like, we have examples of shit. Like, and I'm not even saying you need that, but we have a lot of better examples. There's the range between her singing and Adele is everything on the planet. Like, it's really encompasses all of music. Like, yo, it was bad.
That shit she was doing.
It was bad. So, honestly, from everything I've said and all the takeaways they could, you can forget everything I've said and sum it up. I hate two things that I will stand on. Because you're backing up some plot points. I still think she's too soft for what she could have been. But regardless of that, even if that were fine, her singing and the music of the show were bad enough to stop me.
I
But
get
then
that.
add in the other plot problems, I just couldn't roll.
And then there's also just the natural, like, it just wasn't vibing with. That's also.
No, I was
Yeah,
not.
like, you just not. You're
No.
watching it, you're
No,
like,
no,
yo, I
no.
can turn it off.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that
though.
didn't happen.
I wasn't mad. I wasn't mad at the period. I wasn't mad at Tommy's whole vibe. I'm fixing horses. I'm a gangster. I don't really want to be a gangster, or you know what I'm saying. Or there's some trepidation there, but there's pressure. Cops on my ass. I'm rolling with. I was rolling with everything, but like the points within that system, there were some really big problems for me, and that was enough for me to watch anything else. Because again, like this, like anything on Netflix, like anything on YouTube, Hulu, you're competing for my time. You know what I'm saying? And the moment I realize that my time is worth more than this, it's over. Because there's an infinite amount of other things that can entertain me. I can go yo-yo, son. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like anything. Like, is anything better than this? Yes. All right, I'm gonna go there now.
Yeah.
And that's just what it was. But yeah, I think that's. I'm good on that. If you have anything else more on mind? I feel like
this
deep
is-
dive.
Yeah. Like, this is a good spot to let y'all go.
Yeah, we've been going. Oh yeah, we're almost at 3 hours. We're good. Good. So, all right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the new setup. It's a little more. It's a little closer. Not gonna use the word intimate. It's not gonna do it. But
Cozy.
it's definitely more cozy. So yeah, I think we're gonna stop that there.
Yeah.
This has been another episode of JTO. Like, subscribe, share with a friend, all that. Do that right down there
Much love to y'all.
for sure.
Hope you guys enjoyed your holiday. Hope you ate a lot of food.
Absolutely,
And I hope you're using that time recovering to watch us.
absolutely. All right, yo. Until next week.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.